I mean, like I said, just not one of my favorites.
Pre-show
Either, so I'll
on.
give you that one.
Put up a banner that says pre-show.
Yep.
For me, my least favorites, if I'm gonna go like kind of that route, Night Terrors for sure.
Oh yeah, that was I can
Um,
see it.
Probably The Host, and then I'd probably go Identity Crisis.
Those are fair.
What'd you think of what'd you think of the Nth Degree Barkley taking over like that?
I actually really like that episode.
I'm really mad that we didn't get a follow up to that.
Yeah, it was
Oh my God.
it was really good.
Because I mean, we made an advanced race of beings that can transport you halfway across the galaxy. We don't get a follow up.
If I had to pick favorites, though, there would have to be two categories: ones that spoke to me and ones that I just had fun with in this season. Because I had both. If I had to pick the three that spoke to me most, that's pretty much easy. It's going to be Family,
Drumhead,
and I will probably have to say. Oh, this is tough if I have to pick one because there's a lot of good Think episodes in this season. You know what? Redemption. I'm gonna say that I like Redemption Part 1 is it's a fantastic Think episode. And I really liked it. And I have to give props and kind of lean that in with Part 2, even though I'm not on the full season yet.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because that reveal is so goddamn clever. I was like, holy shit, that this is Tasha Yar's daughter. Like, I was just like, what? And then they explained it. I'm like, holy shit, I hate that this makes sense. My mind is breaking, but I love it.
And of course, they bring in Guinan. Guinan's like, this is all your fault.
Yeah. Guinan is fantastic as well.
Ross, this is for Ross right here. So we had an assignment in my political film class to watch this documentary called Horror Noir. And they were going over Black people evolving in the film industry with horror movies. They get to the first of first with Candyman, Tony Todd being the first Black lead in a horror film. Not, that wasn't white. So it wasn't Jason, wasn't Freddy. It was Candyman.
Yeah.
So in my report, in my little report that I did, I was like, yeah, I enjoyed it. And I was like, I love Heath David. I love Jordan Peele. And I was like, I love Captain Kern. Star Trek joke for those of you who don't get it. So
did that land?
I don't know. I'll find out tomorrow.
Okay.
I hope it does because
let us know. Let us know in the chat.
But I had to. I saw Tony. I was like, great. And then of course Keith David. I didn't know his first movie was The Thing.
Really?
Yeah, he was saying that in the documentary. That he goes, yeah, my first film was The Thing, and he was laughing because I made it to the end. He goes, I survived.
I'm texting Travis.
Okay. Oh, nice.
Yeah, this political film class is going to be interesting. That's for sure.
And we are live.
Yes, we are. Hello, Super Geeks.
Hey, everyone.
Rolling on the pre-show.
Yeah.
Little Twitchers. While we wait the hour for everybody to decide
Ross,
to show up.
Did you want me to wait to say my favorites of this season, or?
Oh, go for it. It's the pre-show. It's a bonus, but I'll ask you again when we get into the intro.
It's going to be really simple. My top 3 of the season. It's going to be the ones that kind of just really spoke to me on an emotion level. I'm going to say Family. I actually liked Clues a lot.
Clues was good.
And The Drumhead were my 3 favorites of.
If I may, Randon, can I give you 3 to look forward to for season 5?
Sure.
Okay, first one, they'll be out of order and read it in the order of reading, but anyway, The Outcast, Ethics, and I believe the next one you're going to like, and watch it with not a grain of salt, but a matter of time. The person in this episode who plays the antagonist, if you will, just take this with it. He was supposed to be played by Robin Williams.
Really?
Yeah, so I'll just give you that, and then so when you see the episode, you'll understand why. Now, the guy who played the role did an amazing job, but the role was written specifically for Robin Williams. I think at the time, when did it come out? 91, so they're filming in 90. I think he was doing Doubtfire at the time. He was doing Aladdin at the time. So he couldn't commit to both projects. I think, and at the time, This is when those poor animators at Disney. This is when he recorded 16 hours of dialogue for Aladdin.
I do gotta say before we move on that I'm giving Cupid a lot of hell, but I gotta say that's probably one of my favorite Q moments, just him slipping into bed with Picard casually. Like I was just
okay.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
sorry,
the
but
first time he does that
it's
to
not.
a captain.
Yeah. Okay. Spoiler warning, but that won't be the last time he slips into a captain's bed.
And then
Love
Sun is
Q.
here.
There's
Hi,
Sun.
son.
Raina, you will love The Outcast. You will
There we go.
love it.
Thank you, Sun.
I
There.
guarantee you will love that one.
It'll hit hard, but she's right. You will love it.
It will hit really hard.
I'm gonna continue my. Like I said, I'm
Honestly,
trying to
I would
one
with the
season
way
down.
with the way the episode structure is. I wouldn't blame you, since with the great thing about Trek is, at least with episode of the week. Sorry, I don't know the official term. You can watch it out of order, so you can probably just start with the Outcast and go from there, since you can select which episode.
Yeah, you don't have. That's the nice thing about TNT, because they didn't air in that order. That order that they're listed, they aired in whatever order they got. They got done first, so it didn't matter what episode list it was. The air dates or what
right
really went down. It is all
Hey,
syndicated.
hold on real quick, Son. How are you feeling this week?
Well, as you can hear, I sound like shit. I feel much better than I did 2 days ago.
That's
I'll
good.
take it.
That's good.
Yeah, I get through with the food poisoning, and then suddenly, because of a compromised immune system from the food poisoning, sinus infection. Woo!
Yay!
She can't help it. Zora's domain is humid as fuck.
That's true. But you'd think all the water would help.
Right?
I feel like I have a liver for nothing. It's not filtering toxins.
Son, I wish you could have been here today, actually. I was having a discussion with a friend. We were actually arguing which is the best rendition of Zora's domain.
I'll be honest. I actually, I hate the Twilight Princess Zora because they look like they have like fucking house trimming on them for no fucking reason. But I love that version of Zora's domain.
Oh, it's beautiful.
That is
a great water temple as well.
What do you think about Zora's domain and Breath of the Wild?
I can't stand how gloomy it is.
Yeah, honestly, it's not even that. I hate its elevation. Like, it doesn't feel like a Zora environment. It feels more like a Rito environment by how high up it is.
Well, I mean, considering it's Breath of the Wild, that would only make sense because, like, even in the Wind Waker, the Zora supposedly evolved into the Rito to begin with.
Right.
But, like, I mean, you also have to remember there's, like, this thing that we know of the Zora, and we've seen maybe a few times, that is not really used in their architecture and could be. And that is the fact that Zora can swim up waterfalls, straight up waterfalls.
Now, I will say that I love the weaponry in Breath of the Wild for the Zora. Like, Mipha's trident is one of the most prettiest weapons. Like, I didn't even want to use it. I held onto it through the journey and didn't want to use it. It's that beautiful. Yeah,
when you buy your house, you can actually hang it up on the wall.
I'm such a sucker for Mipha.
I absolutely love the story. Wholesome. I love that it's that Breath of the Wild kind of really went past will they, won't they? That Link and Mipha were a thing, that they were going to get married. Now, of course, she's since died, but I love that they just yes, they're engaged.
Oh my God, Age of Calamity touches on that so much. She is just an absolute boss in that game.
See, this is why I can't I hate all this shit. It's don't make me go to other games to get the story for one fucking game. I hate that shit. I hate that I have to read the countdown comics to understand the fucking backstory of 2009 Star Trek.
Oh, don't even. I just went on a whole thing about that. I watched it today, trying to have it as a palate cleanser, and I had to watch another episode of TNG to cleanse that.
Yeah,
for my palate.
Yeah.
I know that this is like going to be controversial as hell, me saying this, but like fucking Kirk annoys the fuck out of me. I don't know what it is, but like I don't like. I love Chris Pine, but he has a punchable face in this movie.
Okay, here I got one for you, Raina. Season 1 Crusher or Chris Pine's Kirk? Which annoyed you more?
Oh.
Chris Pine's Kirk.
Yeah, I gotta say it's gotta be Kirk. Like, okay, look, he has a few funny moments.
Season one Riker may not have the beard yet, but he still has the swagger.
He's charming as fuck. The beard just brought him to like level max.
Raina, so you just want Riker to swing that leg over you, don't you?
Dude.
Oh God, here we go. Why the banner change?
You know what? I very rarely simp for celebrities, but I would simp for Riker. I'd simp for him in a heartbeat.
Frakes. Yeah, Frakes is aging well. He's looking good.
I like saw a picture of him, like, and this motherfucker ages gracefully. Like he looks good with age. Like,
but I will say this. This isn't a spoiler. When he's in Star Trek Picard. Okay, so take the Frakes you saw, let's say yesterday, how the gray hair and all that. God, in Picard, he looks like a homeless man.
So he looks like a man who spent his entire day making pizza from scratch.
Yeah,
which is exactly what he did.
I mean, you're also talking about a guy that makes pizza that is scratch.
It was a rabbit pizza.
Rabbit sausage and what was the rest of it? I forget.
Tomatoes and something else.
And burnt.
Oh, only one tomato got burnt because it fell off the pizza.
Yeah, but he complained about burning it.
Well, no, they saw the smoke coming out of the oven and they thought the pizza was burning.
Oh man,
it was just a tomato.
This is for you, and I forgot to show this off on my stream, but I got this today.
Ooh. The holographic Charizard.
It's the dark Charizard.
That's Charizard from the Rock series.
Ooh.
I forgot to show that on
my stream. Hey, Justin, I have a question.
Hey.
Have you updated the little fly-ins this week for the title? No, you didn't. Okay.
No. Wow, Justin.
The fact that he had to think about it let me know that he did not.
This week I got busy dealing with the Spotify side of things. So
I spent most of this week with insomnia. Not because I couldn't sleep.
I can't move my shoulder.
Literally couldn't breathe. So therefore it wouldn't let me sleep.
I got one too. I can barely move my shoulder. I can't lift it above my head.
Okay.
Yeah, so you see me doing this thing, that's why.
My friends want me to scold you guys for getting me into Star Trek because I keep making Star Trek like references and using keywords.
Time out. Hold on. We're keeping you in Trek. We're encouraging it. Blame Travis. He got you started on Star Trek.
Yes,
that's I know. Travis. Like when we were camping, he was like,
speaking of
here's the premise for DS9. Here's all the interesting characters. I'm like, oh, here we go. And I'm like, you know what? I'm in TNG. I'm not really going to be interested in that. And then like an hour after that conversation, I'm like, oh my God, I need to finish TNG so I can get to DS9.
See, that the camping trip was a trap.
Okay, there was only one thing he spoiled for me, and he's like, it's because it's so bad, I want to pre-warn you what it is.
Okay. Profit and Lace?
No, it's Enterprise's ending.
Yeah.
You're good. Yeah.
There's no real spoiler there because it's not what actually happened. It was just a holodeck recreation.
Well, that's what anyway. Okay, Ross, that's what he told me, and I was like, "Wow, I'm so glad I didn't watch that blind because that would have straight up pissed me off."
Okay, hold on, time out.
Well, the thing is, they tell you right away because within the first minute, then Riker shows up. Computer, freeze program.
Yeah. Raina, okay, warning you.
That might actually interest you.
We're talking about your favorite episode.
Travis warning you about the Enterprise finale was our equivalent to warning you about Shades of Grey.
Dude, Shades of Grey was bad. I wanted to drink.
You guys are talking about the Enterprise finale, are you?
Yeah, she just told us. Yeah.
Hey, at least you didn't watch the sequel, 50 Shades of Grey.
Jesus.
I would have rather watched that. I thought you guys were joking. It's a clip show.
No.
Overreacting. It's a clip show.
It's a glorified. It was a glorified.
You should
And here,
know that
Raina.
we take things fairly seriously when it comes to Star Trek.
And
It's
Raina,
the
here,
only
this-
episode that pisses me off worse than Justice, and I hate Justice.
Here, it's going to piss you off even more knowing this, that you didn't realize it. How did Pulaski get her send off? It wasn't Shades of Grey. They wasted it as a clip show, so you didn't even get a Pulaski send off.
She was there 1 minute
Points in
and
Beverly's
Crusher was
cap
back to say,
anyways.
Raina's sitting there like, I like Justice.
you
now.
didn't even get a
Fuck you.
send off for Crusher.
Dude,
You
like
didn't-
I'm telling you, Justice pissed me off as an episode. Like if I ever do a rewatch, screw that episode. I'm never watching
You
it
didn't
again.
even get a send off for Crusher. Crusher just disappeared one day and was back a few episodes later. That's all it was.
You know what though? I like Beverly better now. Like I liked Pulaski at first, but after Beverly, like they actually gave her smart things to say and act like a doctor.
Yeah. Yeah, you know why? It's because they had Pulaski for a whole fucking season. They
And
were
by that time,
they suddenly realized how they should be writing a doctor.
Well, after season 2,
Dude,
that's when
I don't know
Roddenberry
why. I
no
just
longer
pictured the
had
director
Sorry.
going, "What is a doctor? Oh, looking
see-
in the
and see,
dictionary. That's what a doctor is."
And then there's some funny behind the scenes pictures. I think it was from season 3 actually, or 4, where it shows Gates riding a unicycle between shooting Labyrinth and the choreography scenes in Star Trek. It was great.
Oh wait, you know what? Greg, you actually just reminded me of something. There is another good episode that I actually loved, and it was a good temporary send off because I know he comes back. But Wesley send off, man.
Oh, Final Mission, yeah.
Yes, that episode is fantastic.
He has another one. He has another
grew.
one coming up this season.
Yeah, another send off or another is that the
Wait,
Academy one?
Yeah, it's the Academy one.
What season are you? Where are you at now, Raina?
Five.
She's starting season 5.
I
Okay.
just finished season 5, episode
So
1
she's gonna
because I
be,
wanted to
getting
see how that
introduced
played
to
out.
Roland and
Mhm.
the
Yeah,
Academy
Darmok.
Wesley send off. We had Darmok this season.
So the next Wesley episode you're gonna like, you'll see him in the First Duty. That one you'll like.
That's a good one.
This is his first duty and his last duty.
No, I probably would have got 2 seasons of, but I got hooked on this game called Boyfriend Dungeon.
Yeah.
I was on Game Pass and I was like, okay, you know what? It's on
Game Pass is
Okay.
the root of all
I
evil.
was hooked.
Oh,
Just-
so speaking
just-
of that game, sorry,
just
let's
wait
simulate
till-
the-
Just wait till Subverse comes out on GOG.
Oh yes.
Okay, so remember what I remember last week or the week before we were talking about, what was it? Somebody brought up a lawnmower simulation game. What the fuck pops up on my Facebook is as a leaf blower
Yeah.
simulation. Are
You
you
mean
serious?
Power Wash Simulator?
Hey,
Yeah.
I will have
Yeah.
you know that one of the most relaxing games you'll ever play is House Flipper. I own that on Xbox, and I love that game so
Farming
much.
simulator. Why?
Because somebody wanted to make a more realistic Stardew Valley.
Dude, did you guys see that? That was an actual news story that Angry Joe covered. How much that game had actually made last year?
Yeah.
It's insane. It's
Eh,
like
It's actually part of the reason Chucklefish dropped the game entirely. It's because like Stardew Valley was originally published under Chucklefish, and Chucklefish has problems of their own right now, still with Starbound. And yet here's this game that they published made by one man, and it's getting more coverage and more sales than anything they ever fucking made. And they're like, yeah, no, we're done now. Bye.
I love Stardew, and honestly, I'm very excited for their next project called Witchbrook, which is like Stardew Valley but in Hogwarts. And I am so looking forward to that. I like really am. I like those kinds of games.
We can actually find out how the wizard and the witch got together and then broke up.
Oh, speaking of Harry Potter, I read a fun story actually.
Was
Rad-
it a
But
fan
with
fiction?
Harry Potter. Is that possible?
Oh my God, you
Yeah, well,
guys! I have to cut you off, Greg. Daniel Radcliffe doing a damn strip show.
Yeah.
In that, dude, that was glorious. I watched that show, The Oregon Trail. It is hilarious. It's hilarious.
It's actually and that's what I was going to talk about. So he was being interviewed about that. They asked him, and he said he had a fun time doing that scene. And here's what got me though. is that they asked him if he had ever been starstruck filming Harry Potter. He's like, well, I was 9 years old. He goes, I couldn't really get starstruck until he started filming and met Gary Oldman. He said he was absolutely in awe when he met Gary Oldman. And I'm like, that's justifiable. Because, I mean, you're old enough at that point to know what he's done. But the cool part of there's a little tidbit there. So what got him Harry Potter was actually Maggie Smith. She got him the role. And so the coolest thing ever that she's done, and Maggie Smith is a cool lady to begin with. So she is appropriately addresses Dame Maggie Smith of England. She told Radcliffe, "Oh, honey, just call me Maggie." I'm like, what? I'm like, what? You get to call Maggie Smith Maggie? I thought that was pretty great. I was like, that's a great little story right there.
To be fair, I would be starstruck if I met anyone from The Fifth Element.
Yeah.
Even the fat guy in the cop car.
Multi-pass.
Can you sign my multi-pass?
I'd even be starstruck at the nerd at the recreation clinic. You know the one. That's why you're laughing. You know the one.
God.
I hate that idea. No, but seriously, I that 2009 Star Trek. What? Like, I understand why the video game is so terrible now.
You're gonna be ranting about this off and on all night.
I am, like, I can't stop. Like, I can't get Chris Pine's stupid punchable face out of my head.
He gets a less punchable face than the next two movies.
Like, I think I had a breath of relief when he got his ass kicked in the bar. I was like, oh, thank God.
Oh, wait until then, darker.
Like, when he starts flirting with that chick, I was like, just stop. You are
chick
I mean, he literally is acting just like Kirk.
Yeah,
Shatner did as Kirk.
See, that's what I'm saying. If I watched TOS, I might have enjoyed this because I would have had some nostalgic value for it. But it was just like seeing this on its own. It's like, I miss Picard. I miss Riker. These people suck.
I mean, I'll be completely honest. Kirk is an asshole, even in TOS. Like, just like a complete asshole.
I do like seeing him and Spock fight, though, when he's trying to just be a smart ass and he's just getting outsmarted at like every point. It's just hilarious.
There's only one episode in TNG where Kirk has every right to be an asshole, and that's the one where they all get infected with the spores.
Oh my God, why did you bring up the spore episode?
Because it's the only time where Kirk kicking somebody's ass actually did something of value.
I know, like, you would think that diplomacy is not that interesting, but God damn it, is it so much more interesting than just fighting. And you know what? I keep saying it. J.J. Abrams does not know how to escalate a fight. It should go, like, steadily rise the stakes. It shouldn't be like, everything's just blowing up around me. We're just having a conversation about tea now. Everyone's dying. Like, that should not be a thing, JJ. Stop.
Well, I mean,
Mission Impossible 3 was pretty good.
Well, to be fair, in the undiscovered country, it happens the other way around. See, first there's the explosion, and then the tea happens.
Yeah.
All I'm going to say is if I have to see another lens flare, I'm going to lose my mind. My eyes.
Into darkness, you're going to see lens flares.
There's an annoying scene where they zoom in on Chris Pine's eyes, and there's a stupid lens flare there. And I'm like, why do you find stupid places to put these? Stop.
It's like Quentin Tarantino's obsession with feet.
Yeah, but you know what? At least you could make that more interesting. If I'm looking at a bright light that may or may not give me a seizure in a few minutes, like, it's like, God, JJ, like, he's starting to actually annoy me now. Like, I actually like him as a person, but he's starting to freaking annoy me with his movies. Like, they're so beautiful, but they're not thought out. Like, you're a good set designer, but you're a terrible director. Like,
well,
that's probably a controversial opinion. So, but I stand true.
No.
I mean, look at
right.
Lost. Look at how Lost ended. So there's your.
Look at the Star Wars sequels that JJ was a part of. I mean, all three
You
of
know
them.
what? That's why people give me hell. Oh, Force Awakens is just a retread. Yeah, that's why it's the best one, because he played it safe. You can't fuck it up like you did the same
Raina's not wrong. No, it was a safe rehash, and it for me, I liked it. It was like, cool, you set the table for something more. Cue Last Jedi.
And you fuck it all up.
Okay, you know what? So
Last Jedi was not that bad.
Okay, hold on.
No. Last Jedi was horrible. It was a fucking slow. It was the O.J. Simpson chase.
Oh shit!
That's exactly what that movie was.
Okay, I can't watch the movie the same anymore now. Hold on, I'll agree with Ross. About Last Jedi not being bad. Take out that Canto Bite scene. The entire thing is Canto Bite. Take that out, and Last Jedi is infinitely better.
No, it's not, because it's still an OJ space chase. Like it's literally just an OJ chase on TV in space.
Ross, you know what's funny about this whole thing, Ross? That you and I saying we like The Last Jedi.
What's that?
The whole irony of it is that people hated The Last Jedi, and it took Rise of Skywalker to go, holy shit, that was a much better movie.
Well, it's funny because I find that I have very different opinions than a lot of people when it comes to certain movies. For example, I think the Matrix sequels are severely underrated and don't deserve the hate that they get.
Absolutely are.
Reloaded is my favorite of the three, but I have to agree with that. They are very underrated.
Like I keep hearing people complain about them, and I think, did we watch the same movie?
I mean, like, you're talking about this transhumanist kind of experience going on in like cyberspace / reality, because the two have kind of merged, and then I go ahead. You hear all these complaints is like it's unrealistic. It's like, no shit, that's the fucking point.
I kept hearing things like, "Oh, it didn't have a plot." Or did you watch the movie?
Did you watch the movie? Did you listen to the architect rambling for like 5 minutes?
Did you not understand the story? It's a savior story.
Did you?
What happens to saviors? I mean, what happens to messiahs?
Hold on, what happens
to the chosen one?
What happens to saviors? They take half your shit.
Did you not watch Battlestar Galactica?
No, like, guys,
the Matrix was before Battlestar Galactica.
It's funny that I get onto Greg about being the contrarian, because he should see me in the anime community. I piss off everyone as soon as I said Sword Art Online is just the worst hack. Like, people lost their minds. I love pissing down my house.
I love pissing off anime when I'm like, oh yeah, Dragon Ball Z is the best anime, and they're just like, excuse me.
Screaming for 8 episodes is not a fight scene. I'm sorry. That's not how this works. No.
The screaming wasn't the problem. It's when Frieza went 5 minutes and 30 episodes later.
My friend Brooke and I we'll argue for hours on end which is the best Pokemon series, and it's going to be Johto Journeys. I don't care what any of you people say. That's the best one.
I'm okay. Yeah. I mean, okay. Their first one of the night. Good job, Justin.
All right, I'm going to go grab some water, and then we'll get started.
Water, wait, not coffee?
It's 420 blazing.
Carlos tonight. He is recovering from the long weekend mentioned.
It's my lane.
Look, I'm recovering too, but I'm still here. Damn it.
Yeah, but
Carlos can't talk.
Yeah.
Sun's picking up her trident and she's coming to work.
I can't wait to rip.
Let's be honest, I really can't talk all that much either, but I'm here and I'm screaming.
Oh, I'm pumped. After seeing that terrible movie, I'm pumped for tonight.
We have to have a new section of about 5 minutes at every show where we have Raina's reviews for the Star Trek TNG.
Yes.
The Star Trek Virgin reviews.
Yeah, there we go. Star Trek Virgin reviews. There we go. Travis can put that on the Star Trek page.
Hey, by the way, Travis, what did you think of my cover photo for tonight?
Oh, I thought it was cute, honestly.
How are you, Travis?
I added that last minute card there on the Trello at the end because I thought that was like something that no, not the Active Blizz one. I guess.
Are we talking about Activision and Blizzard again? Oh, Bobby Kotick, you're going to be so mad at me tonight.
I guess Ross cleaned house and removed it. Their Showtime is remaking The Man Who Fell to Earth,
Oh,
and
boy.
they cast Kate Mulgrew in the filming.
Ooh. Okay, that might be interesting.
So yeah, like David Bowie's first fucking movie, they're remaking.
Well, son, your list is still on there.
No. That's no. The news that I just spoke about
okay.
them remaking The Man Who Fell to Earth.
Oh, cute.
Yeah. Thank you, Leia.
Oh, it's
What did my fiance say now? Oh,
Wait for a minute.
she's such a sweetheart.
yes, she is.
I am a potato.
What was
Everybody's
that?
like, Leia's such a sweetheart. I'm just like, yeah, she's engaged to me, and I don't know why.
It's because opposites attract. She's
Oh.
sweet and you're an ass.
Ross,
Yeah.
you can hear me when you come back in the room. Do the Riker maneuver. Yep.
He can't hear you. He's got his headphones plugged in.
You recall if that man pull a grind muscle trying to do that maneuver over that chair.
Hey, it hurt, but I thought it was funny.
Actually, that just reminded me. I need to ask Ross tomorrow after he sleeps how to do stuff for my Twitch, because my Twitch ended up getting like 20 viewers on this past Wednesday. I'm like, okay, I need to do something like Ross to have them do like, hey, redeem these points so I can mess up in the game or do something stupid, because I'm up
You have
like
to set him up with an extension.
I want to do that thing with my community. Have you seen that, Greg? You may want to do that. The Call of Duty roulette, where it randomizes the items you have to use for each match.
No, I'm a camper. I can't do that. I need my gun.
Dude, I went in.
Did you see my camping video I sent you the other day?
Loser.
Oh yeah. I actually went into it the other day just with the mission of getting nothing but tomahawk kills. I actually did pretty good. I went 14-9.
That match, I think that match I sent you, I came in, we were down like 65-50, and we won. I went in, came out. Oh, you know what was? I don't know. I went 24-0 in the match. We came back and won.
So Rain, my favorite episode of TNG comes in season 7. It's
If
called
you say
Mask.
the episode I think you were about to say, I'm going to leave this group right now.
What is
Okay.
it, son?
What is it, son?
It's Masks.
I don't know
That
that one.
episode is weird.
It's weird if you don't understand what's going on.
Hey,
Okay, so
Travis,
let's
there's
find-
a list that you need to do. The best, worst episodes of Star Trek.
Yes, the
Oh my
top 30
God.
best worst episodes.
If I do like that kind of thing, I can already tell you what's going to be number 1.
Okay, what is it?
And the children shall lead. That is the
yeah.
quintessential
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
bad it's good Star Trek. episode.
Absolutely.
Well,
as long as
I
it's not
counted
being
down-
wages.
In 2017, I think it was, when I counted down my initial take of the absolute worst episodes, I did include that one. But in my analysis, I specifically wrote out that there was just way too many times where I had to pause the episode because my own laughter was distracting me from what was actually going on in the episode. Like there was just like, and it's not even like things that was like going on. It was just the kids. Like there were so many shots in that episode where like the camera will just focus on the kid's face and they'll just have this like blank expression of like not knowing what the hell is going on. And it's just amazing.
Where is
It's
my
just-
Q episode for season 5?
I don't think there is one.
Yeah, I don't know if there is one for season 5. But
I
like
think
I
it's right
said, you're
for
like you're pretty much in TNG's prime right now. Like season 5 is very strong. You don't really need Q. For
Well,
this one.
actually, Q's not in until back until what? These are all good things.
no, he gets Tapestry.
He comes back in that.
Oh yeah, when you get kicked out and
Travis,
continue.
You're so right. I got Riker's beard that tied me over. You're right.
There you go.
Well, Travis Lisa didn't pick. These are the wages. As
Q
number one.
Q comes back in season 6 Tapestry.
That's what it is. Tapestry. You'll enjoy
That's
that.
the
episode.
one I hear you guys talking about all the time, so it's got to have some significance.
That's what
What's
we're thinking.
another-
Season
what's
2
another
of
really
Picard's going to
good
be.
so like what's another so bad that it's good Star Trek episode?
These are the voyages.
No, that's
Nope.
not really so
Anything
bad,
but
good.
justice.
What?
Code of honor.
Anything- Oh God!
Code of honor is not
If
as
there was
bad
anything as
good,
bad as
so-
justice, it's code of honor.
All right.
Yeah,
Justice is
Hey,
even so
you
bad
guys
it's
ready to
good.
go?
Justice is
Let's
just
go.
bad.
I'm ready.
All right, Travis, you ready
Um,
to do some synopses?
I can do some synopses.
Wait,
Son, do you
I'm
have your
I'm
list
looking forward to
ready?
this lower decks one.
I have my list ready. Yes.
Outstanding. Raina, you ready to geek out?
I am ready.
Greg, Justin, you guys ready?
Yeah.
I've got the jokes and he got the yolks and I've got the lame memes already to go.
And he's got the mute button.
Just for Greg.
All right. Hey, Justin, when you bring it up, have Travis and me side by side instead of just me this time. I have a gag.
No, really.
Okay.
Yes.
Why do I have a feeling I'm not going to like this?
You're going to laugh.
Are you
Also-
sure about that?
I'm
Ross
not.
is funny. I'm pretty sure.
I'm not
Are we
sure
doing this- are
if
we doing
West
this
has
after the
Army
intro?
in Atlanta.
Let me double and check and see if I can do this. 1 and 2. No, we're gonna do 2 shots.
You can't do us both
and
side by side?
I'm working on it.
Well, you can. Well, remember.
Welcome to the pre-show, folks. We're working out the kinks.
Well, remember, you can literally drag us all out into the waiting room.
Oh yeah, that's right. I can.
And hey, working out the kinks, that's what the pre-show's for. And the After Dark
Exactly.
show.
I mean, I don't think anybody should be working out kinks. That's kink shaming.
Oh goddamn.
No,
Jesus.
working out kinks is working out what kinks you're into and explaining the kinks to other people.
Okay, I know how
okay.
I can do it.
But like I said, that's the After Dark show.
So I can do this and
Perfect. All right, roll
I have
it.
a feeling this is going to be one of those shows where I just... You stop. Wipe that grin off your face. You won't.
I don't know, Lane. That sounds an awful lot like genocide. Welcome to the Real Super Geeks podcast.
Why do I even bother at this point?
Title, Justin. Title. Dead air. Title. Come on. And welcome to the Real Super Geeks podcast on this, the 20th of August, 2021. My name is Ross, live, love, play, the eyebrows of doom himself. And joining me once again is our lovely array of hosts. You've already met Lane, and joining him is his hetero life mate, Travis.
Hello, everybody. You all shut up.
Yes.
I am a potato.
Where is that coming from?
I have no idea where that's coming
That's
from.
I heard it a couple times during the pre-show.
That's
Justin.
Justin's soundboard.
Oh, you got a GLaDOS sound now?
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily call it glad, but yes.
Man,
Well, impersonating the scientific robot of doom, it is Justin. How you doing tonight?
doing good. Travis, I'm sorry, but we couldn't pass up this chance. I mean,
well, I'm sure.
it's so perfect.
If
The only thing that would make it
tornado
perfect is
warnings and
Carlos was
early
here.
If tornado warnings and early shows aren't enough, you gotta throw that shit at me. Speaking of which, I drove through a tornado warning yesterday and got hailed on, so that was a whole
Oh,
bunch of
fun stuff. Fun stuff.
I mean, the other title, of course, was this.
I mean, I actually kind of dig that one. So
That needs to be your wallpaper, Travis.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I am very much
No, wait a-
debating like
No, wait a minute.
That is like my cover photo or something.
Put it back
I'll
up.
send it over to you.
Put it back up.
After the introductions.
Yes.
Okay.
After the introductions.
I just want to point out that the fact that we talk about Travis being Rutherford and the fact that Rutherford is smiling at it right now. Yes.
Now, in bronze and gold rare edition, Greg.
Doing all right today. So it's funny with that because my fiance just texted me because she saw Ross do the intro with Travis, and she goes, "I'm glad I didn't wake up the kid right now." I am up to a busy week. I have just started my senior year of college, and I'm already swamped with homework. But this will be a fun show. Looking forward to it.
Excellent. All right, back in her natural habitat, it's Reyna.
Hi, everyone. I have had a really crappy week this week, so I'm actually glad to be here. It improved about a little bit yesterday. I got things a little bit better. Actually, Travis helped me a lot through this week. But I actually start class again Monday, so that's a thing. I'm excited.
That will help take your mind off a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah, so I am happy for the distraction. Everything is going good. I am happy and healthy, though, and I'm here.
Outstanding. And also recovering from a bit of a rough week, we're glad she's here. Son, how are you doing, and where the hell are you?
Okay, so I get over food poisoning just to be immune compromised for a sinus infection. Yay! So I'm like leaking from the nose and coughing up crud and severe headaches all week, and it all kind of stopped like today. Aside from having a really hoarse voice and still coughing a bit, but hey, I'm getting better.
Well, it's lovely to hear your voice one way or another.
Yeah. Okay. So this week I actually had the time because, hey, being an insomniac because you can't breathe so you can't sleep, I decided I'd probably, show you guys some Destiny. So
Ooh.
this is Destiny 2.
I could tell you, but I
won't.
I don't get that reference because none of that shit is conveyed in Destiny 2 at
That's
all.
the point.
Whatsoever.
That's the point.
All right. Thank you, son. Thank you, everybody, for joining once again. Let's roll right into our reviews. And first off, we're going to go with Lower Decks. Travis.
Oh, God.
Lay it out for us.
Come on, Travis.
We see. Yes. Okay. Sorry, I just had a brain blank. All right.
Take your time.
All right.
We see wait. Hold on.
Spoilers. Sorry,
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
There we go.
Yes, the spoiler alert. We see our lower deckers waking up after a very sleepless night. Too many wormholes. Too many red alerts. Too much indecision on whether to enter or exit. Or just avoid the wormhole altogether. Like Janeway in Voyager. Or something. That joke's done to death. I'm moving on. And they are approached by the second coolest dude on the Cerritos. Ensign Jet Manhaver. That is his canon name.
Oh, God.
And Mariner's like, wait, weren't you a lieutenant in season 1? And he's like, nah, I've always been an ensign. He's like, but you've had 2 pips in the first season. And he's like, no, I've always had 1. But anyway, he's been reassigned to the beta shift. And he's like, I'm going to be taking Boimler's place. And Mariner's like, wow, you're like super more uptight than Boimler. And they have this weird battle in the Sonic showers. And we roll our credits. And they have been called to a dead collector's ship. Because this other collector needs to auction off his other things. And they're like, wow, there's a whole bunch of like crazy shit in here and a whole bunch of dangerous shit. He's like, yeah, I want you all to remove the dangerous shit and leave all the high end shit in its cages and don't touch anything, or I'm going to blame the Orion because stereotypes and Orions and pirates and shit. And Tendy's like, not this shit again. And sure enough, he tries to steal something. Kalus's fornication helmet. It's canon.
It is.
It is canon.
Kalis has a sex helmet.
He has a sex helmet.
Yep.
He was
For
a sexual. He was for safety. Safety first.
Klingon safe sex.
Hey, Klingons, they're into some kinky shit.
Look,
Worf
he's
is-
ridged. He's ridged for her pleasure, but only on the forehead.
Yes. Exactly. Anyway, the collector tries to steal the thing and blames Tendi for it, and his move makes the ship go all civil defense DS9 on their ass. And
attention, Bajoran workers and all.
Pretty much, like, and oh yeah, I forgot to mention that ever since the season finale of season 1, we've had a bit of a hole in our security chief position. Well, enter Lieutenant Kayshon from the Temerians. And he is now our chief of security. He is the first Temerian in Starfleet. He has the metaphors and everything, but he is learning Federation standard. And he is on this away mission. And once the ship goes all civil defense on their ass, he gets transformed into a puppet. Not that puppet. He gets transformed into a puppet. He's a squeaky puppet. Squeak, squeak. Squeaky puppet. I hope this recap is entertaining somewhat.
Oh, it is.
Anyway, so they have to figure out how to, of course, get off the collection. While Freeman is trying not to micromanage because her command evaluation says that she does too much micromanaging, and she's like, I don't micromanage. When do I micromanage? While this is all happening, we get a look at Brad Boimler on the Titan. The Titan is in a whole lot of action. Way too much pew, pew, pew. In fact, when we first see him, Riker is telling the ship to Chakotay, pew, pew. And so they Chakotay pew pew some Packlet cruisers, and they go away, and then they have basically Riker takes his senior staff into the ready room, where they pretty much say like, look, the Packlets are trying to weaponize Veruvian ore because it's like super volatile, and this British tactical officer's like, but the Packlets are too stupid to weaponize Veruvian ore. And Riker's like, yeah, exactly. So we think there's somebody else involved. So we're going to send you guys into some undercover mining over here. And you guys are going to have to like find out who this other player is. And we cut the strings. Boimler, stop writing that down. And Boimler's like, writing it down. Stop writing. Stop writing. If you guys understood that hot reference joke, I love you. Anyway, so they go to the mining facility, and like Boimler's like, we shall overcome. And they're like, dude, you're fucking Starfleet. You're way too like, it's so obvious. You're not even an alien. You're a human. Stop trying to deny it. And the officers are all talking about like, oh, too bad Riker isn't here because he must have been so bored during the Next Generation because all he did was play trombone and make love and get transporter duplicated. But long story short, their cover gets blown, and the Placods are like, hey, stop trying to get our snacks. And they chase them, and they Packledge Chakotay pew pew the away team, and they have to run away before they get Chakotay pew pewed. And I need more tea. while this is all happening, we return back to the collectors. Mariner and Manhaver, aka Jet, they are just at each other's throats. Because Mariner thinks that he's just trying to prop him up to become this bold hero guy, and he just thinks that Mariner's being too reckless. And they both realize, oh wait, no, we're actually they're actually kind of buddy, and they realize that neither of them are really fit because they're like, all their decisions are just getting them into trouble. And so they look over to Tandy and Rutherford and they're like, oh yeah, we have this like super awesome plan that doesn't involve any kind of danger and it works out flawlessly. And they get off and Freeman's like, what happened? And they're like, oh, Kayshon's a puppet. And she's like, I'm micromanaging again. Meanwhile, we go back to the mining facility. The Packlids are ramming a door with a giant saw. We have to use the saw. And there's a distortion field, and they can't beam out.
They were using the saw as a battering ram, not as a saw.
Yeah, that's what's so awesome about that. We have hit the saw against the door.
We are strong.
But like realizing that their final moments are at hand, the away team's like, there's no one I'd rather die fighting with. And Borman's like, this is not what I joined Starfleet for. I liked that Riker was always jamming out on the trombones, and I'd like to be in a string quartet, and I would like to be exploring and everything. And his pep talk actually motivates the away team because they start to remember all the small reasons they themselves joined Starfleet, and they remember that Starfleet is more about just kicking ass and taking names. And that's when Boimler gets an idea. He reverses the polarity, initiates a drill. The other away teams are beamed out in the nick of time, but Boimler's left behind. And in the midst of like this crazy, crazy moment, they manage to beam him out. But they don't. They detect a shuttlecraft coming up from the planet. And it's also Boimler. And they beam him on. And they're like, what the fuck's going on? And then Riker's like, hey, I've seen this episode before.
Oh, no!
And they basically Boimler gets transporter cloned, and Riker takes him into the writer room. Is like, hey, you guys did awesome, except like the clone, you didn't really do anything, but hey, congrats anyway. But Starfleet doesn't want two people on the same ship, and I know you guys aren't really the same, but like it's just gonna get confusing. So I need one of you to go back to the Cerritos as an ensign. And the clone and Boimler look at each other and they give this nod. And Boimler steps up. He's like, I'll go back. And he's like, wait, I thought you were going to go back as well. And the transporter clone's like, what? No, I didn't think I were going to do that. We were just nodding.
Well, was it the transporter clone?
And Riker's like, okay, well, Riker actually has a really nice touching moment with Boimler. And he's like, hey, I'd rather be on a ship exploring. I enjoy it while it lasts. And he sends him off, and the senior officers wish Boimler luck as well as he returns to the Cerritos, and they ask if they'll ever see him again, and they're like, yeah, because his clone's here. We're going to see him every fucking day. And they're like, oh, yeah. Boimler returns to the Cerritos and is welcomed back by his friends, even though they give him a little bit of shit for, saying goodbye without, mentioning much. Like, they give him a little bit of shit for taking the promotion of the Titan without saying so much as a goodbye. And as we see them enjoying some shots, Kayshon recovers from being a puppet, because that happens, and he goes over to a woman's like, hey, Tamarian pickup line. And she's like, what? And he's like, well, Shaka when the walls fell. And we pick up next week when Boimler's back on the Cerritos. I have a feeling that this recap wasn't as entertaining as the last one. I got to get used to it.
It's fine. It's fine. You did a good job. There was a lot. It was a short episode, but damn, was there a lot.
I mean,
they packed a lot in the short episode.
There was a lot of Lane.
A lot of Chakotay pew pews, though. I like.
Oh my god, that is
not
perfect.
agree.
All right, and there's a lot of Chakotay pew pews.
There was naturally, this being an episode around a collector, a guy with too much time on his hands and lots of possessions. There were quite naturally a lot of Easter eggs.
A lot.
Holy crap, there's a lot. I will run through them as quick as I can. Let's see. There was a fidget spinner.
There was?
There was a fidget spinner.
Yeah,
I gave just there's a link of all of the Easter eggs in our private chats.
I am.
Check that out. There was a Nintendo Switch.
I am.
A Curiosity or Perseverance Mars rover, Terran Empire flag, a Kurlin Naiskos, the artifact that Vosh stole and tried to present to Picard as a gift that he saw right through.
I like the fact that there's a copy of Hotel Royale.
I was going to get to that. The copy of the Hotel Royale was there. There was a log buoy from Where No Man Has Gone Before, a Betazoid gift box, the box with the face that made that annoying noise. A Medusan carrier pod, the alien that's so horrific it drives people insane if they see it. So it's contained in this box, so they don't kill anybody just by being around. One of the old Trident scanners, a Batleth, a Cottiscot board, the board game that Naomi and Seven used to play together, a trombone, a Batleth and assorted other melee weapons, assault vampire taxidermy, an isometric disintegrator, the bazooka that Worf used in Insurrection, a Horta egg, Odo's bucket, a water polo ball, Khan's buckle necklace, Neelix's apron, a TOS operations women's uniform, the Catan probe that made Picard think he was Cayman from Inner Light. A Logitician's baseball cap from the baseball game on DS9.
Oh no! How long?
The alien sex candle.
Khan's buckle necklace.
The sex candle.
The sex candle, Justin. The ghost candle. The ghost candle.
The Howard family candle.
Oh no!
Oh no!
The headset from the game.
Yeah, saw that. That was good.
Baseball with bat, Clay Jean-Luc Picard bust.
Riker's trombone.
I said that. The Hotel Royale novel. Let's see. Several crates of Chateau Picard. Several torpedo casings. A diagram of the Starfleet Delta. We're getting to the ends. A weapons display including a Jem'Hadar Kartatan, Batleth, Mechleth, and an Ushan Tor Hantha and a Lurpa that was used. Data's mask from Masks. Data's poker visor. A Gorn skeleton. Spock 2's skeleton.
Uh-huh.
The giant Spock from the Plant People episode of
couldn't miss that one.
From TAS. An Excalbian skeleton. Abraham Lincoln's copy skeleton from the Excalbian episode.
Oh, really?
I wonder if that was torpedo casing from Generations.
A Gorn skeleton and a Sellat skeleton. So many skeletons. The hell, so freaking much. Holy crap! Was there so much to see in this episode? Did you guys catch at least half of those?
Actually, you know what? Surprisingly, I caught a lot of them, and I was just I'll admit, I was grinning the whole time. I was like, okay, that's cool.
I missed the fidget spinner and a couple of the other stuff.
It was tiny. It was hard to miss.
I caught the Royale. I caught the Royale and all that. I
can't help but think that it might have been a nod to Travis, but that just might be ego.
You know what?
I mean, like if that was a nod to me,
that'd be great.
I only know one person. I only know one person in this like whole thing who made the whole "we have to see cetacean ops" a thing that went from just me hearing you talk about it to literally having the entire fandom start championing. So if that's not you having some measure of fandom, I don't know what is.
I'm just saying, like, this has got to be a dream come true. Travis is officially canon in Star Trek lore.
If that's the case, I mean, like, cheers, Mike McMahon. I absolutely love your show.
Well, it's not the first fidget spinner we've seen in Trek, sort of.
No.
We had Giorgio's fidget spinner of death, the murder spinner.
Yeah, and then we had Narek's puzzle cube thingy.
Yeah.
Jesus, I got to get caught up on this. What?
Just a couple hundred more episodes to go.
Hey, I'm breezing through TNG really fast. I'm proud of myself.
Yeah, you're doing good.
You too. Like, I'm looking
And
forward to
I'm
you
sorry,
like,
we'll hear from that as soon as we're done with What If
The reviews.
So, what else did you guys think about this episode?
Oh Christ!
All right.
Okay, Greg, let's get it out of the way. Justin,
Okay,
be
let's
nice.
Okay, first off, Boimler, Romulan ale. It's good. Ooh,
I actually
that
make
burns.
a decent Romulan ale, I think.
Ooh, that burns.
Okay,
Okay,
It
so
does.
I liked the new ensign giving Mariner a hard time, calling her out for all her BS. The Sonic shower scene was pretty funny, but at the same time, it's like, okay, that it just got little kid level. But I have to say the highlight was the Temerian, Lieutenant Kayshon. I am severely disappointed we did not get Picard and Dathan at El Aldrel.
There's plenty of show left.
There is. That would have been great because I mean he
They
of
didn't
course
kill him
got,
off after the first episode, so we're good.
he got the Dharmakajal on the ocean, that sort of thing.
I was actually worried he was going to do that too.
Thing is, like with the Picard metaphor, I think that's a metaphor for first contact, so it really wouldn't have much of a bearing here.
It would if he was meeting someone for the first time.
Yeah, like maybe when he walked onto the bridge, he could have said
if he had
that.
said
He'd
it
be like,
then yeah. That was a perfect opportunity.
Well, they had a different one that means joining a group and being accepted by them.
Yeah.
Darmok when he joined the Seven.
So, other than the collector, okay, the joke that Travis didn't mention, of course, but was like, so, oh, they're trying to collect data. Every collector wants to collect data. It's all just leave him alone. He wants to steal. That was funny, but it was a great Easter egg scene. But just Mariner, I did like the Mariner got basically put in her place. It's like, no, we have to figure this out. The quickest route to the escape pod is like basically calling her on all her crap. But then when they both realize that they both can't be in charge, and they're like, okay, Tendi, Rutherford, you figure it out. And put them on the spot, which they did. But I guess I can't say much. What got me the most was the whole Boimler part. I was so actually excited. You see Boimler on a Titan, Riker's in action. That was great up until when he realizes, oh, hey, the double transporter confinement thing, that's going to work. And then, okay, smart play. And then there's two Boimlers. I'm like, no, just no.
None of us even George that one.
Yeah, nobody. I was like, why? Like, I was like,
I'll talk about.
So that's how they get it back to
myself.
the. That's how they got him back to the Cerritos. Was a damn transporter clone accident. I'm like, oh my god.
So Boimler is technically still on the Titan, but also back on the Cerritos.
All right, I
So
do have
name's
some
William
things I wanna
now.
say on that.
Let's hear it, Travis.
Yeah.
I have a love-hate relationship with this plot development. On one hand, like, I understand that Lower Decks is more comedic, it's more goofy, a bit over the top in some ways, and so, like, for them to pull this kind of move, like, it fits the show. It fits the show, but, like, and I don't even have a problem with the whole transporter clone development. Like cool. Like, it's very Lower Decks that they would throw a nod to that episode of TNG and, you know, use it as a way to figure out a problem. Cool. My problem with it is I expected more when it came to their explanation of getting Boimler back to the Cerritos. Like, I knew it was going to happen. I knew that Ross was kind of hoping that they would be like, oh, maybe, like, you know, Boimler would be more like on the Titan for most of the season. And if they'd gone that route, I would have thought it would be very, like, ballsy. Like, I thought it would be a very unique thing to do. But
that would have been great.
I don't, but I mean, like, I don't think that was what was going to happen in terms of Lower Decks as a show, if that makes sense. Like, it's just not that kind of show, if that makes sense. But with what they did here, I thought it was it was disappointing because Boimler earned that spot on the Titan.
Mm-hmm.
He earned it. He, like, when you, like, factor in what he did in the first season, like, he's more than just like he's more than just like I'm by the books. Like, he actually worked really hard. Temporal Edict, he outshined the crew in that episode. Like, he earned that calling, that praise from Ransom, which got him that transfer. That clone did not earn that. That clone did not pull that move to save the away team. So the fact that, like, Riker was like, pulls this, like, one of you's gonna have to go. Oh, like, Boimler was very he was distraught when the, like, clone kind of tricked him.
Mm-hmm.
Because you could tell that he did not want to leave. And while he was overwhelmed by the things on the Titan, while he was very much like, while he wished that he would explore more, and while he wished there wasn't so much action, you could tell that he was still very much fighting to stay on the Titan because he loved that posting. He loved serving with Riker. He loved serving on that ship. And so the fact that, like, what gets him off of that is just like this, like, silly trick, and that Riker doesn't really do much to, step up for him. I mean, like, I genuinely like the whole, like, I genuinely really liked the little small talk that he and Boimler have, like, hey, appreciate every moment you have on the Cerritos. I wish I was still doing more exploring rather than all this nonstop fighting with the Packlids. I miss being on the D, and like I loved that moment. That was genuine heart. That was like, oh, like, I loved that moment. But it just, the fact that, like, it just, this resolution didn't sit right with me.
I kind of feel the same way in a way. But also I get what they were trying to do with this episode, with that B plot. The art style and the environment that Boimler was in contrasted with the Cerritos was pretty jarring and intentional. Where the Cerritos felt very TNG TV and Enterprise D. The Titan was very much Sovereign, very Enterprise E, and very, very movie feeling. The music, the uniforms, of course, and the ambiance, it all felt like it was meant for a film. And I think that was something done intentionally to contrast that kind of heavy action film vibe that we get from the Star Trek films, because that's what they need to be in order to be successful in the general marketplace, while the Cerritos is more familiar feeling that TNG feel. And I think that was intentional to add on to Boimler's conflict in this new posting. And I don't know, but I kind of get the feeling that I couldn't. The Boimler clone.
They should have 2-vixed him.
I was thinking the exact same thing. I would have been like, now if Boimler would have, been like, oh, look, a clone, immediately took out Phaser, just been, okay, that's the end of that.
Put in the brig for murder.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I know I got a sinister vibe from one of the two of them.
I did too, yeah.
But at the same time, do we know which one's which? We don't have a means of telling them apart.
I get the feeling that when it all comes down, we're going to be seeing a Boimler versus Boimler, type of thing that we never got to do with Riker versus Riker.
I don't know. That
you think we're revisiting the Titan later on?
We might. So my take on it is, I think it was obviously hard to tell them apart because the one on the shuttle is the real Boimer, not the cloned one. But we don't know at that point when Riker's talking to both of them. We don't know which is which. And I think it was okay. Fine. The Cinemax series. I think it was dumb to demote him. You give this great pep talk, basically a commendation. Like, oh, by the way, we're demoting you. What? I just risked my life.
Did they demote him?
Yeah, he got pushed back down to
Boimler's
ensign.
demoted to ensign.
Well, that's
another
bullshit.
thing I don't understand.
Yeah, the lieutenant Boimer gets to stay on the Titan because I need one of you to go back down to ensign, and go back to service. I'm like, okay, that's BS. You just basically gave him a commendation and then demote him. My second part was the crew like, oh, Riker was first officer for 7 years. Like, well, technically he was first officer for 15 years, but there was a glaring there. But as far as Boimer, if they come back to this whole Boimer versus Boimer, then it's going to get Tuvix. And I think Lower Decks has the awareness to make fun of itself in such a fashion. So I think we're going to revisit Tuvix, and I wouldn't be surprised if the secret cameo at the end of the show is Kate Mulgrew or Chakotay. Because Riker, when the clone comes up, Riker's like, "Hey, I remember this too," and it's like, "Well, no shit, it happened to you."
How crazy! Well, hey, in the books, Tuvok is a member of the Titan's crew.
Now, notice who wasn't a part of the crew this time. Marina Sirtis wasn't it? No Troy.
Not this time, no.
No, she wasn't on the bridge. I'm sure I wouldn't be surprised she pops up again. But
I mean, how crazy would it be if they do Tuvix him and Tim Russ is there?
I was totally expecting something they were doing a clone thing that was going to happen. They were going to Tuvix him.
So my George theory is by the end of the season we're going to get a Tuvix situation. I can't believe and see Lower Decks has the awareness
or potentially more accurately they're gonna. What was the episode where Kirk got split into good and evil halves?
Yeah.
Okay, they did Gary Mitchell 2.0. They might as well do this 2.0, so that could happen.
Yeah, I mean they could.
And here, I know the perfect person.
We've heard a lot from everybody else. Raina, you haven't said much. What do you think?
Honestly, the thing that always makes me laugh is every time Boimler screams, I just get giggling
mid-transport.
And I just love the opening with Riker's just doesn't care about anything. Like, woo! Just everything just exploding. He's like a space cowboy, man. It's just funny considering, the whole Kirk situation we were talking about earlier, but Riker is just fit to be fun. I'm just saying, he is such an awesome dude. I like the episode. I honestly like the bits with Boimler this episode more than Mariner. Like, I'll be honest, like,
oh yeah,
I guess I would have enjoyed that more if I caught most of the references, but for obvious reasons, I didn't. I've only caught a few of them.
You will,
but it was fun, but it wasn't like great. I thought the stuff with Boimler was hilarious, though. He just makes me laugh. He gets just that scream, just is like contagious. Just it's great.
It's the perfect comedic scream right after the Wilhelm scream.
Yeah, and you know what? I want to make a prediction, actually.
Let's hear it.
I predict that this Boimler, the clone that's still in the Titan, is evil, and I think the end episode is going to be him taking over the Titan. Like him going full on mutiny and taking over the ship, and they're going to have to take it back.
And they're going to have to fight him. Yeah, that's what I was going to think, because this would be a perfect setup for later on in the season of Boimler versus Boimler.
I foresee Riker's team being in multiple times through the season for a comedic effect, but I think that the finale will be that specifically.
Because Boimler is going to continue to get pissed off at the other Boimler, and eventually
I think they're going to
better Boimler.
You know what? I think...
Just a quick... I'm still setting up. I still want to talk about this episode, so don't move on without me.
We won't.
Okay.
I think that the thing that I want to see most is Mariner liking the other Boimler better.
That would be hilarious.
See,
both Boimers are trying to get Mariner to like them.
And we still need to we got a bit of a thread that there's a force behind the Packlids, and we don't know what that is.
Yeah.
True, yeah, because they've been having a lot of problems with pack lids now, so it's like, what the hell's going on?
They've had a
It's
lot.
nice to see that they didn't leave that alone, that they continued that threat going forward, that they are pushing into further in the region.
What if it's a one guy that's behind the packlets now?
What one guy?
The security officer that died last season, or supposedly died. What's his name?
Oh, the Bajoran?
Yeah.
Shax is pretty loyal. He wouldn't do that.
It's actually kind of funny that we're talking about the Packlets, actually, because when I was watching the episode originally with them, I was telling Travis, like, are these guys gonna, like, tell me they're not going to be returning, like, villains? He's like, no, they're one-off. And now I'm watching this show, I'm like, I actually kind of like watching. They're great comedic villains. They're perfect.
They're taking our snacks.
Using a buzzsaw as a battering ram instead of a buzzsaw. And it works.
I just want to
brute force it and they make it work.
I know this isn't the show for it, but God, it's a missed opportunity that Q didn't mess with these guys.
Yet.
Yeah, he might be in this season.
You never know.
That is still my.
You never know. Q might be the reason behind them in the first place.
Oh, that would be great. You know what? I have to say that I did like that Q reference in season 1. That's my favorite reference. I've come to play a game with you. We don't have time for your Q bullshit right now.
Travis, what are your final thoughts?
I think he's something up.
I don't think he's there at the moment.
My final thoughts real quick. I'm looking forward to Boimer versus Boimer. So we got Gary Mitchell 2.0. Let's get this Evil Kirk 2.0 going.
Hell yeah!
And if they do that, I will watch season 2 and try to enjoy it because like I said, Boimer is my favorite character.
Travis,
so
go for it.
I'm looking forward to
that. He showed back up just as he started talking.
I'm just
while he's doing that, and also more Boimer screams. I'm with Raina. More Boimler screams.
Oh yeah. You know what? I'm just
to put it in your terms. Boimler screams more than Burnham cries.
I just want to see Boimler versus Boimler, both of them using Klingon weaponry.
Ooh, Christ.
None of that, please.
Here's how we here's how we tell them apart. One's using a mech lift, one's using a bat lift.
All right, Travis, you there?
Thought I heard him.
It popped in for just a second as you were talking. He asked us not to move on. We got to move on. Where are you, man?
For our viewers watching, by the way, Raina has a huge crush on Riker. Just so everybody knows.
I didn't even get a chance to review it.
Everybody has a crush on Riker.
Justin get to get his.
He's my husband.
I haven't got my review in. Ross, I haven't even got my review in.
Oh, sorry, Justin. Go for it.
But yeah, so this episode, I hear an echo.
Sorry. My phone was... That was me. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Anyways, so yes, so far, it's not a bad episode. I agree with everybody else here. The transporter thing was kind of crappy unless they make a run with it for Evil Boimer. That I hope they do that. I have a feeling they're going to do that. If they don't, I will be pissed off. I want to see Evil Boimer. I want to see a Boimer on Boimer action. I wanted to see both trying to fight for Mariner.
Oh no!
Okay.
Could you imagine? I mean, that would be a Boimer thing to do: fight for Mariner,
or make Mariner choose.
Exactly. And then what if they make Mariner choose, and at the end he chooses the other guy?
I'd like to see the Evil Boimler get borged.
Well, I mean, we got a Borg episode coming up, so I mean, we've seen that in the previews. So I mean, hey, it could happen. It could very well happen. But yeah, overall, it's pretty good episode. Minus the transport thing, very predictable. I mean, we saw that one coming as soon as the beaming mishap happened. And like, oh, they're going to do this thing. Yep, they did this thing. Yep, it was very predictable.
All right.
Travis.
I have no idea what you guys are talking about in terms of like the like Boimler versus Boimler thing. I'm not sure.
The Evil Kirk episode.
Evil Kirk and Good Kirk.
Remember when they got split apart by the transporter?
I don't think that's what's. I'm not entirely convinced that that's what they're going for. But again, like that's just me. In terms of the episode, in terms of final thoughts, I enjoyed it. It wasn't the strongest outing from Lower Decks personally, from what I've seen. But then again, like ironically enough, I wasn't really fully blown away by the second episode of season 1 either. Like ironically enough, like I'm almost wondering if next week is going to be one of my personal favorites, because the way it played out in season 1 was there was a fairly strong opening, not the best, but fairly strong. And that's how it was this season. The second episode was like, I enjoyed it, but wasn't really as invested as I'd hoped. And then the third episode of season 1 became one of my personal favorites. So I'm almost wondering if next week's going to be like that. And if it is, I'm going to be pretty like, I see what's going on here, but like, regardless, like personal nitpicks and like grievances aside, this was a Lower Decks episode. Like it felt Lower Decks, and I did have fun. I didn't like how they progressed some of the story because again, Brad earned his promotion. He earned his place on the Titan. That clone did not earn anything. And so the fact that he is, now taking his place on the Titan is just like, I really, really wish that they had approached Boimler's transfer differently. Something that felt more natural. Because, I mean, there was something else, like, fuck. Give me a minute. Like, it felt earned.
So,
take a breath.
I'd like to say something here
Go
that
for
I
it.
think that if they had maybe added this joke, it would have been you all would have probably been a lot more okay with the transporter incident, quote unquote, being a thing. I agree. Boimler, like Prime Boimler, should be on the Titan and stay on the Titan, and it's the cloned one that should be going back to the Cerritos. I completely agree with that.
Oh, I've remembered.
Okay, go ahead, Travis.
Like, mainly I was just going to say that I'm very happy that they didn't go the route of, like, Boimler just being completely over his head and messing up. Because, like, as silly as I'm sure they could have written that story, I don't feel that would shine a good light on Boimler. Yeah, it's not. He is a guy, like, when he gets overwhelmed, he does what he can to bounce back. He does what he can to adapt to the situation, and he comes out on top.
I mean, it's not even that. You remember the Buffer Time episode? He was like the coolest cat in the fucking room.
He was in his elements.
You know what? He was outshining the crew, like I said. Like, he is a hard worker. He is someone who, like, he loves his work. It is his life to a fault almost. And so I am very happy that they didn't, say like, oh, like he's getting transferred back to the studios because he messed up super bad on the Titan or something. Like, I'm glad that they did not go that route, but I would have preferred something that maybe like he got more sentimental for something on the Cerritos, or maybe like just like Boimler, the Cerritos is kind of falling apart. Like, they kind of need you back. Can you make
it a voluntary transfer?
Team? Like something along those lines rather than just this, because again, it very much feels like something Lower Decks would have fun with and do, like this transporter clone thing. But in terms of the story, it sits wrong with me. It really does. And I hope that this kind of blunder is few and far between as Lower Decks continues its run.
I actually did notice something about this episode too.
What's that?
Boimler actually didn't mess up at all. It was actually one of Riker's crew members that actually fucked the whole mission.
That's true.
Boimler saved the day.
Yes, he did.
Boimler actually tried. He actually tried to save it as well. Like he was like, "Hey, we're not supposed to make contact," and she didn't listen.
Also,
he's the one. They were ready to go down to the blaze of glory. They're saying, "All right, this is the last stand. It's been an honor serving with you." I was like, "No, this isn't what I wanted." And then, oh, hey, I can save us.
Yeah.
Also,
we don't have to die.
I love the events in the collector's ship. The only what actually triggered it was a sex element.
Yeah.
Can we just talk about that for a minute?
The collector's
I just
story,
love that everything went to hell because of that.
I absolutely. I found I loved Tendi in this episode. I'll go ahead and say that much. Like Tendi is so damn charming, and seeing
She's
her
wholesome.
like I really hope she gets some focused plots this season. I know they said that they're going to try and do that, and seeing her be like, stay alert, stay alive, and just kind of coming up with these plans that were just completely safe and just foolproof.
I love that little moment where they were like, damn.
Also, one other thing I want to quickly touch base on before we move on officially. During the recap, you know how I said Jet was a lieutenant in the first season? I absolutely love how they're just hey, what's with the extra pip? Do you get a full promotion? And they're just
oh no, double promoted?
That's just an extra piece of corn, because I have actually taken note of various instances where the pips are actually wrong on multiple characters. I remember at one point Shax had 3 pips instead of his 2, and again in the first season Jet did have 2 pips. He was a lieutenant, but he's an ensign here, and I know that some of the some people will take note of this and be oh, they should it shows that they don't care or something like that, and I'm just
that's a great way to correct themselves. I don't care what anyone says. The fact that the show is
that self-aware, it's just I feel like it's the show's way of as silly as an explanation, oh, it's just an extra piece of corn. It very much is the show's way of saying look, we get it. We make mistakes. We're only human. I do I love I love that little jab, and I just kind of have an extra bit of appreciation for it, because again, this is a show that is made by humans, and while some people might find that kind of thing as a show breaker, I never really found that to be very jarring, especially since again Miles O'Brien, his ranking was always fucking changing on the Next Generation, so
yeah, but you know what? The animation is really good. To have minor mistakes like the combat scenes, the space battles, everything looks really nice and crisp. So to have that as a minuscule thing, I even though they could have completely ignored it, I like the fact that they did poke fun at it.
Mm-hmm.
That animation errors do happen. I just think it's a great explanation. I wish more shows would do that.
Just
all right, let's wrap this up. We got more to talk about.
Yep.
Wait. Okay, so I would like to mention this. I think there's one. I think just maybe a few lines of dialogue would have sold you on this transporter incident. Aside from them sending the Prime Boimler back, I agree that it should be reversed. So you have Boimler and Riker and Boimler in a room, and Prime Boimler goes to Riker and says, can't you just transport us back together? And Riker, in his best Zap Brannigan impression, goes, who do you think I am, Janeway?
Oh my god, that would have been hilarious.
Oh no!
See, wouldn't that have sold the accident then?
That would have been hilarious.
That would have been better.
That would have been hilarious. You almost broke Ross with that one, though. Congrats.
Oh, that was good.
Take notes, Mike McMahon.
All right.
We'd love
Thank
to.
you guys for sharing your thoughts and impressions of Lower Decks Season 2, Episode 2. All right. Let's roll into our next review, and that is What If Episode 2. What If
And this is all
T'Challa Star-Lord?
spoilers.
One spoiler alert is enough, Justin. We already covered
just
it.
the one.
We are a spoilery show.
Yes, we are.
All right, Travis, you ready?
Yes, I
Take it
am
away.
ready. Imagine a world where Peter Quill doesn't become Star-Lord. Imagine a world where Star-Lord is actually someone people know, love, and respect. He doesn't listen to 70s pop music, but he is T'Challa. And he is all for the people. He gives to the poor and steals from the rich. And that one dude who says, "Who?" in the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie actually knows who Star-Lord is and is like, "Dude, I'm gonna spar with Star-Lord? You want me to shoot you? Oh, are you sure? Okay, then." And just gets his ass handed to him, but he absolutely loves it, and he completely fanboys over the fact that he is in a fight with Star-Lord. This is a what if story about T'Challa, the Black Panther, actually being Star-Lord. And the only thing that sucks about this episode is the fact that Rocket Raccoon isn't in the story. In this story, Thanos is actually a good guy. Shocker. And
He's a bartender.
the big bad is another collector. I just now put those pieces together. We got 2 collector villains this week, everyone.
Oh no!
I think not.
No, I can't handle that. There's two different shows.
But,
Nope.
Well, technically 3.
What?
In this,
Oh God.
What?
There were
The
3
dead
collectors.
collector, the alive collector, and then what if?
You had the collector, you had the dead collector, and then you had the sex helmet
Siggy.
collector thief.
Oh
Like
no,
Siggy
this is
is
going
on-
full
This is
on
turning-
Kelvin Prime. It's gonna break
This
my
is-
head again.
This is just turning into Mass Effect. That's what this is.
anyway,
Continue.
Continue, Travis.
in this story, Yondu comes to Earth looking for Peter Quill, can't find him, and finds T'Challa, who has wandered away from home, and he and Yondu have a small talk about how T'Challa wants to see the world, and Yondu says, "I will take you to see the galaxy." So T'Challa grows up, becomes Star-Lord, and he and the Ravagers are actually, or wait, not Ravagers.
Ravagers, that's right.
Ravagers is right.
Oh, for a second I totally thought that I was mixing Mass Effect and Guardians of the Galaxy up, but the Ravagers like stick with T'Challa as Star-Lord, and they're like super effective. In fact, they are so effective that they manage to like diplomacy is their game, like T'Challa's strength. He even talks fucking Thanos down from like genociding half of the galaxy or
Captain
universe
Genocide.
or whatever.
It's still on the table.
I mean, it's still on the table, and Thanos thinks that it's still a pretty good plan, but he's also like, you know what? I'm with T'Challa here. I'm a rad dude, and he totally is. Like Thanos is a rad dude in this episode, and
He's
so
a
like
bro.
they much like the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, they find the orb that contains the Infinity Stone, and freaking they decide to, they're not entirely sure what to do with it yet, but Nebula comes over to Star-Lord with a proposition, a
It was
heist.
an absolute bombshell.
She's a
10.
10.
She comes to Star-Lord and says, "I would like to do a heist of the Collector." And she gives this whole plan about what the fuck are they after again?
The embers of creation.
Yes,
Yes.
that's right. another Star Trek thing. Because when I was watching this, I was just thinking of the Genesis device and that goo from Lower Decks that also spreads shit.
It's all connected.
It's all connected. It's all
connected.
Together.
It's all connected in the world. Marvel's really in the Star Trek universe.
Oh yeah, it's all coming together. And you know what's ironic? I actually had a dream in which, like, Infinity War is actually just a big movie to tie the Kelvin verse into the MCU. I'm not lying. I had that dream.
Oh, no.
I had a dream about that right before Infinity War released, and it was badass. Anyway, back on track. Speaking of which, Marvel, if you're watching, I would love to see that as a what if. Just saying. Anyway, so they were like, we'd like to get the embers of creation, and this guy has them. He's the collector, and they go, and it's really, really, really like detailed in what they intend to do, because they're like, Nebula at one point is just like, all right, we're gonna have a secret conversation. I'm gonna actually like betray you, and it's all gonna be an act, and we're gonna be doing this, and no one else is in on it until like the very end when she's like, oh yeah, like when I betrayed Star-Lord, he actually knew I was gonna do that, and we actually have to do this now, and it all falls into place until it doesn't, because, you know, like, when does anything fall into place in the MCU? I guess this is what if. What if everything worked out according to plan? Ponder. Kinda. Regardless,
the world may end up ending, but hey, we'll burn that bridge when we get to it.
The collector and Star-Lord have a big old fight, and they Chakotay pew each other. But I mean, it doesn't really go his way until Nebula is like, "Hey, I got his device," and long story short, they put him in a cage, and like that one pink slave from the Guardians of the Galaxy movie who was like, "I will no longer be your slave," actually has a badass moment like that where she is like, "I will no longer be your slave," only she doesn't say that. She just like, you know, presses a button and like releases a bunch of people, and they're just like, "Hey, this asshole imprisoned us. Let's get him." And he's like,
cheeky grin is so great.
But guys, I gave you like free rent and stuff. And they're like,
a nice parallel to Jeff Goldblum's character in Thor Ragnarok.
Yes.
And they all basically like just, you know, like surround him, and it's all a nice big old happy ending. And T'Challa and Yondu had a little bit of tension earlier on when like T'Challa finds out that, like, because he grew up thinking that Wakanda was destroyed in a big civil war, but it turns out that it wasn't, and they've been looking for him this entire time. And he and Yondu are like have a bit of bonding where like he's like, you know, he doesn't say like, you know, I may not be your father, but I'm your daddy or whatever. They don't have that moment, but they do have a nice moment where they return, and they have a nice bro moment where like they have a moment that is very much akin to the season finale of Lower Decks season 1, where they're all bonding with one another and having like weird questions asked. There's a lot of Lower Decks parallels here. And I'm not just making that up. It's really weird. But they all have a big happy moment, and T'Challa is a wonderful, wonderful Star-Lord. But what happened? What about Peter? Where's he in all this? He's a janitor in a restaurant. He's listening to his pop music, and there's a knock on the door, and there's Daddy.
Not just any restaurant. Dairy Queen.
It's the Dairy Queen.
It's the Dairy Queen.
Done. Anyway, there's a big implication that the world ends because, you know, in Guardians 2, Peter Quill, he's like, that thing's my fucking father, and they kill him, and they Chakotay pew it out of existence. But that doesn't happen here. There's just an implication that he and Peter join forces, and genocide happens that way.
May
May happen that way.
Not will.
That's a story.
May.
So let me get this out of the way right now. I hate this. Do you know why I hate this? Because we don't get it. I'm Mary Poppins, y'all. And we never will.
Poppins reference, and we never
True.
will.
True.
That's a what if for another day.
So before we get into, I want to start this with a discussion. One of the first reactions I saw to this episode was the assumption that because they swapped Peter Quill with T'Challa, is that because it's T'Challa, he got everything right, where Peter Quill gets everything wrong. And that it was the impression some people got is because this is a minority character that he kind of Mary suited.
Oh my God.
I don't agree with that, but I want to hear what you guys think.
I don't agree with it. I look at it like this. Quill, not that he did things wrong. Quill got lost. Well, not lost, but he left and got captured at the right moment. His mom had just died. He was in a great deal of pain. T'Challa was not in pain. He just wanted to explore and share what Wakanda had with the world. So T'Challa had a very good, humble attitude about himself, where Quill was in a lot of pain and he was angry. And we saw how that manifested. He's in
Quill is very much
trouble. Sorry, he's in very much trouble. Quill's in trouble with the law and intergalactically. They want to, they know who Star-Lord is. They want to arrest him. T'Challa is Star-Lord, like, oh my God, like even the bad guys, like your humbleness and your gratitude is so well known. It's like they don't want to hurt him. I just look at it as a difference of what happened. T'Challa wants to explore and help people. Quill was in anger and pain.
Well, Quill was basically a kid that had no parental guidance. No, that's what Quill was. And then T'Challa had parental guidance and was much more centered. So that makes a lot of sense.
Quill's emotional flaws, or I don't know if I want to call them flaws, but his his more impulsive hurt and pain, it carries into the it carries into things like Infinity War. Had he had more control, they would Spider-Man and them would have been able to pry the gauntlet off of Thanos.
I will. Oh, go ahead.
And I mean, if they do that, you don't have a story. But I mean, I wouldn't say that T'Challa's Star-Lord is a Mary Sue by any means, because I mean, T'Challa is very much this way in the Prime MCU, even as the Black Panther. He is ready to make the move to have Wakanda known to the world and to make their technologies more accessible. Or maybe not so much, but he's willing to say, look, I want to help with the homeless areas here. I want to help with education here. I want to help with hunger here. He has those resources, and he is he was trying to make moves to make that happen. And so seeing him as Star-Lord and doing the exact same here, I thought it was very natural, and I absolutely loved it. The only thing I hated about this episode was how much interaction he had with fucking Howard the Duck. I was just I actually at one point was just if Howard the fucking Duck is the Rocket Raccoon replacement for this episode, I am giving this a 0. I was so happy when he was just I gotta go, Howard. Bye-bye. But
oh my God, that scene fucking annoyed me too, man. I'm just why? Why is it? Why?
What about you, Raina?
What do you guys got against Howard the Duck, really?
It's quacktacular.
I honestly thought Howard the Duck was a delight because he was voiced by Seth fucking Green.
Again.
Which I just love him playing that character. But no, T'Challa brings with him diplomacy. He brings that experience. He was born into the role of a prince. Even though he hadn't done it, it was kind of an easy adaptation. With Peter, I think the thing is he has gotten fucked the last few movies. They have made him a complete dumbass. But the thing is his mistakes are solely exactly what Guardians 1 said. We're a bunch of misfits. We fuck up everything, and we have to make a plan at the last minute. T'Challa, he thinks everything out in advance. And you even see that with Nebula. That whole plan went exactly according. And it's not that he's good, like better at everything, which technically I think he is, but it's inherent to how he was raised. That there has to be a plan. There has to be some way, because that's even what they're saying when they're talking about all the heists that they escaped and everything else. They did the impossible because they planned and they have synergy and they're a good team.
Right.
Like, I love the Guardians, but let's be honest. They have no synergy until the end of the movie in both movies. Well, hell, even Infinity War. None of them actually do anything together. It's like, look at first scene and nowhere. They're going to deal with Thanos, right? They're trying to get the preemptive attack on him. They fucked that up so hard because of Drax. They messed that up so bad. That's the whole point, though, is where this is a unified function. Like, they're all thinking together. And they're planning things out. Like, don't forget that Yondu's inherent weakness was from Peter. But there's a synergy here. And I think that overall, I love this episode. In fact, this episode, I was just saying to Greg that this was the one that I was actually least excited for. And now I'm feeling like they're going to have a lot to live up to.
Yeah.
In these next few episodes. This episode is great. I love the little details, like the music of the Dora Milaje playing in the actual Wakandan ship, which is great.
Yeah.
The art style is fantastic. I love that Thanos is an absolute bro. I just love that where it's like, yeah, it's still on the table though. When every time he brings up, like, yeah, it's still on the table.
Here's my take on this whole thing. When you're dealing with two different people, even if you do consider nature versus nurture, they're going to behave differently.
Yep.
Peter Quill was a roguish opportunist with a compassionate streak. That's his character. That's who he's always been. Even later on, as he grows and develops and matures, he's still an opportunist. When we first meet him, he's a rogue. He goes off on his own to get this bounty that was supposed to be for his entire crew, the people that raised him. That, though admittedly they did joke around saying that they were going to eat him. But with T'Challa, he seemed to affect the people around him. He inspired them to be better versions of themselves. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the big key takeaways. This isn't, to me, this isn't T'Challa doing everything right, so to speak. It's T'Challa being T'Challa. He just took a bit of a course change.
I need to,
and probably my favorite moment of the entire episode was the end, when he returns to Wakanda with his found family to meet his birth family. And I thought that was absolutely beautiful. I was almost brought to tears. It was so wonderful. Especially with Thanos talking to Okoye about his plan.
Sounds a lot like genocide.
Oh, Dad!
I need to add to your point, Ross. Like, actually, we have seen T'Challa fuck up. I mean, look at Civil War. He preemptively just said it's Bucky. Even though there was evidence presented along the way, he was acting with a human emotion. He lost someone that he loved. He lost his father, and that impacted him. Just like Peter, like the loss of Gamora, like any one of us, like I don't care. Like I said this when people were pissed off in Infinity War. Any one of us lost someone that we loved that deeply, we all would have had the same reaction. It doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter. It's your human reaction. Like, you're not thinking about the grand scale of it in the moment. And I feel like that's Peter's problem is that he gets put into some deep emotional distress in every scene that he's in. That's the only thing where I feel with T'Challa that he doesn't really have, other than the fact that they lied to him about Wakanda in this whole thing. But at the same time, they didn't really need to do that. It's kind of the whole thing with Peggy Carter. Like, yeah, they could have done the whole sad Steve. I'm sad because I have to wear an iron suit in the first episode. But they didn't do that. This is to have fun. And I feel like people are calling it that because it's easy to blame it for that, but I think it's great. And honestly, it's a more fresh take on Star-Lord than we've seen. Like, even in comics, they've switched it up a lot, but I love it.
So
go ahead.
I have to be the contrarian here and say I agree with the people complaining. And so let me explain. I have to agree with them from the unfortunate state of our current set of cultural evaluations based solely on saying these people are bad and these people are good. That seems to come up again and again and again when you inject politics into everything. From that, yes, I have to agree. And only from the unfortunate standpoint that Wakanda is literally a minority community, xenophobically isolated from everything. Because if it was a whole bunch of like Swedish people that had done the same thing, it would be the same story.
Wakanda's not xenophobic, though. They actually make that clear in the Black Panther movie, is that they just do not get into incidents that don't... It's not that they don't like other people. It's they're isolated because they stay out of the affairs of everyone around them.
I mean, that's
not xenophobic. Xenophobic would be saying that they have a problem. They let General Ross's son into Wakanda. They helped him. If they were xenophobic, they would have let him die.
They literally put up a cloaking shield so nobody could find the place.
Because they have vibranium. And they already had someone come in and steal it from them once in the form of Claw. They're not xenophobic people by no means. I think that is being input by other people that are just trying to find a reason.
Right. Then we need to set up this. We need to set up the definition right now that when someone talks about being isolationist, they're not talking about being xenophobic, like what we hear about over and over and over again in conversations like
that. Was addressed in the opening of the episode where T'Challa talks about wanting to go out and see the world, and his father said the world is full of problems, and if we open our doors, we invite those problems in. We would make ourselves a target, and we protect ourselves by isolating ourselves.
And in fact, that was the whole message of the Black Panther movie, is that by literally, that's what Killmonger set out to do, is to weaponize what they had against the rest of the world. And that's what he was saying. You're going to become the thing you hate, and you're not putting your people... You're not putting the people you care about first. You're putting everyone at risk, not just that world, but our world. He held them on an equal thing. That's the whole point with T'Challa, is that not one life is over another. And I feel that's the whole point, is just because you're an isolationist, you can call us isolationist here, that we don't want outsiders here. But that's not how it is. Wakanda literally had Claw come in and kill a bunch of people, take a lot of their vibranium. They have every right to feel like, and not to mention, Hydra had come in before Claw did. And that's the whole point of everything, is that everything that's come from Wakanda, it's people literally taking from them. It's not the other way around.
I understand. But we have literally entire other countries that have done that as well, or had that happen.
We're not talking about
that aside.
We're talking about a show.
That aside, you still have that it is a minority community isolated from the world, and the person who is taken is literally almost from birth groomed to be the next king. So he's going to be taught in diplomacy and all this other stuff that Peter would never see.
Yeah.
Ever. Or almost ever.
Yeah.
So from the standpoint that they are right solely because of the technicality of it all. And that's why I have to agree.
This is self-insert politics. Like it is not related at all. It's people literally outraging to try and find a reason. They did this when the first Black Panther movie came out.
Look, I'm not saying. I'm not saying that they're not trying to. I'm not saying that they're not trying to start shit. They are. I'm saying that they are correct because of technicality.
I don't think they're correct because these are two different characters. The character of T'Challa is consistent in Black Panther and in What If.
Right. I'm looking at the personalities are, like I said, Quill went through heavy loss, and then look what happened. T'Challa didn't have that heavy loss. He had the curiosity of exploration and diplomacy. Yes, I understand being raised for diplomacy, but their two personalities are what made their paths like that. T'Challa was the same regardless, and Quill, if we do get a What If with Ego finding him maybe next season, we're gonna see that. But Quill is Quill, and T'Challa did what he was going to do no matter what.
And if anything, the Mary Sue would be Peter. He's born a god.
Yeah, definitely.
He's born a god. He's a literal deity before his powers are taken from him upon Ego's death, which did not happen here. So technically, if anyone is the Mary Sue, it's on the opposite end. It's Peter. It's not T'Challa.
Which is a nice twist to the whole thing if they go down that route, which I hope they
Okay,
do.
maybe I didn't make myself clear. I wasn't talking about the Mary Sue stuff. I was talking about the minority community thing.
I'm just at the point that
right now.
I guess I'm just so sick of just people just inserting this shit.
I mean, why we gotta?
It's supposed to be entertaining. Well, they never even touched on it.
As another bit of point of view, What If stories, historically, going back through the comics, have always been a little rosy. As an example, there was a What If that's what if Aunt May became the Herald of Galactus?
Oh, that would be awesome.
And she ended up keeping him from consuming Earth by giving him Twinkies.
That would be awesome.
Marvel.
It would literally be the plot that started Zombieland.
Yes. Do it, Marvel. Do it.
So this was a good discussion. Thank you guys for all of your inputs. It's always glad to have open discussions like this and hear different points of view and then discuss them in a more or less calm manner. I'm definitely looking forward to the next one, which was crap. I just had it up.
What is the next one?
Hang on. I'll have it in just a second.
Just real quick, while Rob's looking for that, we do get a Gamora episode at some point because while Thanos is now Aye Commander T'Challa, remember we see Gamora with his double-edged sword in a preview.
What if Loki presented himself to the governments of Earth as the king of Asgard using all of his diplomacy?
Oh boy, I feel like I'm not going to enjoy that one as much.
I'm going to love that one.
Oh, come on, it's Loki. You can't go wrong with Loki.
I can't go wrong with Loki.
You know how I am with Loki.
I wonder if this is where the President Loki.
Like, I don't give a rat's ass about Loki. I don't get why so many people swoon over him.
Because it's Tom Hiddleston, and he's absolutely charming.
You know, my sister. I actually found out about this not too long ago. Raina can corroborate with me here. My sister actually met Tom in England. I guess at one point, like, he was on the bus with her because my sister went to England for a few months. I think she was an exchange student or something along the lines, but like she was just on the bus and with her friend, and her friend, like, I guess at one point she's like, Jesse, fucking Tom Hiddleston's on the bus. She's just like, my sister isn't really the whole like Loki swoon over. She loves the MCU, but also kind of has a love-hate relationship because she very much loves the Marvel comics more. And like she gets kind of annoyed at the fangirls and Loki whole scene. But like she looks over and sure enough, like Tom's over there, and she's just like kind of annoyed at like just like, should we like ask for an autograph? Like, we are Americans in England. We are not going to be those people. And like, so they get off the bus, and Tom gets off at their exact same stop. And like, I can't remember exactly what my sister and her are walking towards, but Tom Hiddleston is walking behind them for a bit. And like, I don't know how long it is, but like her friend like looks back, he's fucking following us. He's following us, you know, like that kind of thing. And my sister is just trying to keep this like calm composure, like, you know, like that kind of thing. And I think at one point, like she's like her friend's like, is he stalking us? And like, I think she like hears Hiddleston like give this like this like kind of like he can hear what they're saying, and he's trying not to lose his shit or something. And they get to a crosswalk, and they have the stop sign, and you know, like they're waiting to cross, and Hiddleston's standing right beside him, and like my sister's friend is just like standing right there, you know, like, and my sister, being my lovely sister, looks over to Tom and says, "Hello, Mr. Hiddleston," and like and he's like, "Hello," in like just like his English accent, and he straight up says like, "I'm not stalking you. I'm going to a theater. It's right over there." Like he's in this production of some sort. My sister tells the story much better, but I found out about this like maybe 2 weeks ago. Like I was like, "You met Tom Hiddleston?" Like I actually at one point was like, "Who's Tom Hiddleston again?" Because like I'm terrible with actors' names, and she's like, "He plays Loki." I'm like, "Oh, that guy," you know. Like, but yeah, Raina heard this story, and we were all giggling at it. And if Jessie is ever on the like, if we ever guessed her, like, I'll have to have her tell the story. It was a very charming story. So Jesse, I love you. It was a very wonderful story, and I'm sorry if I fucked it up in any way.
So here's why everybody loves Loki, and it's not because of Tom Hiddleston. And you can't change my mind on this being the reason. Everybody loves Loki because without Loki, you wouldn't have Jim Carrey in The Mask.
Okay, that's Loki's spirit inhabits the mask in the lore.
Son, you almost got Ross on that one because even he had to think.
All right. Well, thank you guys very much once again. Let's move on.
I'm just gonna say that this episode of What If is everything I feel like What If should be. I much enjoyed this one over last week's episode, which I felt was just a little too like having Steve Rogers in an Iron Man suit just didn't make sense. This one felt more natural, so I'm hoping
that's what if. That's the way it's supposed to roll. And I gotta agree, this episode was way better than the last one. Since I'm getting my review in last again, since everyone else got their say.
Sorry, Justin.
Sorry. All right, let's move on to our next topic. Today, this week, we got a bit of a lesson in misinformation and chasing headlines. In the story that made circulation on pretty much all the big news agencies this week, was that Disney was changing the name of Boba Fett's ship from Slave 1 to Firespray.
Uh-oh.
Now, the rumors about this have been going on for a while, based on what was printed on Lego displays and all sorts of other rumors and more inflammatory commenters getting their say in. Well, it started circulating again this week based on a leak. A internal memo, internal promotion that described Boba Fett's ship as a fire spray interceptor. This was picked up and run by all sorts of people, was posted on IGN, on Bloomberg, and all sorts of other places, not understanding that the ship's name isn't fire spray. It's the class of ship that is fire spray.
It's almost like journalists don't do journalism anymore. Like, fact checking.
Like, the people who hired the Jeopardy host.
So instead of actually looking for verification on a topic, they instead just ran with a headline that they knew where they were going to get clicks.
So it is still going to be Slave 1. It's just that the class of ship is the fire spray.
Right.
Okay.
As of right now, the name is still Slave 1. Although, it should be noted that the name has never been spoken in any canon source.
That is true.
So the possibility remains that it could be changed.
Wait for it. Hold on. Suck it, Sean.
If it is changed, if it is like canonically changed, it'll make a robot chicken clip canon in my eyes. Anyway. There's brief clip. Like, I'm not the biggest Robot Chicken fan, but when they get Star Wars right, it's very fun. And this one, there's like a brief, like 2-second clip of Lando and Boba Fett standing on the landing pad at Cloud City, and Lando's looking over at Slave One. And he says, "I got to admit, Boba Fett, that is one awesome-looking ship. Not too like keen on the name though." And then the skit ends. Like, if they change the name, that is canon in my book. Like, that is canon. That moment will forever be canon. Just like the dinner with Vader scene from Robot Chicken is canon in my mind. Like, that entire scene is canon.
I love
like,
that scene.
You cannot change my mind. That's canon. And so is the Emperor's phone call.
That's about all the time I'd like to spend on that.
Sure.
Our next topic, I don't have much skin in this game, but we got some more information on the Wheel of Time being presented by Amazon. Are any of you guys Wheel of Time fans?
I haven't heard of it till yesterday.
Amazon's making games still?
No, it's
Amazon.
It's a TV series based on a series of books.
Yeah, I haven't.
I thought it was like an Animaniacs thing, like Will.
I haven't heard about that.
No, it's a high fantasy. Okay, hang on.
Amazon, tell me what the damn book means.
All right, The Wheel of Time is a 15-volume series in a high fantasy setting, all about magic. How magic affects the societies of different people and cultures, spanning worlds, time periods, and dimensions. And I had it explained to me once, but I don't really remember it. It didn't hold much interest to me. But apparently it's super in-depth and complex. Different types of magic change based on what sex you are, and it's all kind of crazy.
It's D&D, but without Gary Gygax.
World of Warcraft in space.
I just love how me and Greg just immediately popped a random name with that same premise, because it's such a common
so much fun.
It was written by Robert Jordan. He passed before it finished, so his son had to finish it. Let me see if I can get... The Wheel of Time is the first fantasy series that really dove into the political and cultural worlds of all these different characters. Okay, let me get a synopsis. Hang on.
This sounds like when I brought up the Apple trailer for Foundation. I had never heard of it till I saw the trailer.
I really wish Carlos was here, because he's been talking about this for a while.
If you wanted an anthology series, here's how you do it. You take some high fantasy novel that has worlds and dimensions and all of this shit, and the only connecting thread is magic. How does it affect people?
The Wheel of Time is a series of high fantasy novels written by American author Robert Jordan. Originally penned as a 6-book series, The Wheel of Time spanned 15 novels in addition to a prequel novel and 2 companion books. He began writing in 1984, and it was published in 1990. He died in 2007 while working on what was planned to be the 12th and final volume of the series. He prepared extensive notes. Okay, let me see. Can I get a synopsis of it, please? Plot summary. There we go. The prequel novel, New Spring, takes place during the Ale War. That's not the synopsis.
We want a series synopsis.
The series proper commences almost 20 years after the prequel in the Two Rivers, a near forgotten district near the country of Andor. Probably frozen.
Andor?
And
What the
And Ace Sendai Moraine and her warder Lan arrive in the village of Edmondsfield, secretly aware that servants of the Dark One are searching for a young man living in the area. Moraine is unable to determine which of the three youths that they find is the Dragon Reborn, and leads to all three of them from the Two Rivers, along with their friends, whose names are too fantasy to pronounce. The village wise woman later joins them, also traveling with the group. The first novel depicts their flight from the various agents of the Shadow and their attempts to reach Aes Sendai city of Tar-Valon. Thereafter, the protagonists are frequently split into different groups and pursue different missions towards the cause of the Dragon Reborn, sometimes thousands of miles apart, as they struggle to unite in the various kingdoms against the Dark One's forces. Their task is complicated by rulers of nations who refuse to lose their authority, by the zealots styling themselves as the Children of Light. I must hydrate. Who do not believe in the prophecies, and by the Sin-Chan, the descendants of the long-lost colony of Arthur Hawking's empire. So, yeah. Quite
Sin-Chan, anime waifu of filming.
Ross, I just have one question.
Yes?
Kelvin timeline or Prime?
Neither. Mirror
I
universe.
like where I hear the click like he's going to go and research. Even he doesn't know anymore.
Like I said, I don't know much about the series beyond what I just read. It certainly proves to be an great fodder for a TV series with 15 books that is completed, by the way, and a prequel and source books. They've got a lot of source material to draw from, so hopefully it won't suffer the pitfalls of Game of Thrones.
I knew you were going to say that.
Well, of course I would. It's a fantasy series. Of course I'm going to draw a comparison to that.
But
what else can I draw a comparison to?
Why don't we talk about Elden Ring then?
That's a video game.
I know, but it's got basically a similar concept.
And Game of Thrones has a famously terrible conclusion.
Yeah, but what about the water bottle that should have been on the throne?
That was a coffee cup.
Yeah,
okay, thank you.
I still haven't seen a single episode of that show.
All right, let's move into our next topic, and that is Marvel's release of the final trailer for the Eternals. And I want to know what you guys think about it.
Here we go.
I think that they're pushing a whole hell of a lot more marketing to Eternals than they are to Shang-Chi, and that's a problem.
Kevin Feige addressed that.
This trailer pissed me off. I think I was ranting about it in the Super Geeks chat. It's like, yeah, Thanos wiped out half of humanity, but, they told us not to intervene with human affairs. Meanwhile, they're showing flashbacks of where they intervened with human affairs. And then on top of it, it's like, human affairs? Bitch, this involved every race in the galaxy. What are you talking about? I was just so mad. Like, visually, it's beautiful, though. I really love Angelina Jolie with the summoned weapons. It was so Skyrim. I was just like, holy shit, this looks nice. But that trailer just kept resonating with me. We can't interfere in human affairs. We can't interfere. I'm just like, oh my god. Kevin Feige was sitting in his desk watching this trailer, just sweating like, oh fuck, people are not going to buy this.
So there's a similar line to this in The Undiscovered Country. Do you not hear yourself? Human rights. Well, the very concept is racist.
I'm looking forward to it.
Is nothing more than a Homo sapiens only club.
I'm looking forward to the Eternals. I get the anger behind the retcon of we can't interfere in human affairs. I get that. I mean, you can take that back to Star Trek, to all these other shows and movies, but we have a reason. But I'm more interested in the fact that Salma Hayek character sits there and says the 3 successive snaps on the planet Earth is what set off a chain of events that now they have to be involved because shit's about to get real.
I did like that one.
Well, think about it. The Infinity Stones control reality,
Everything, yeah.
Yeah, a bit of everything. These Eternals, although they're incredibly powerful, they still inhabit the universe. So manipulating these incredibly powerful energies that, by the way, created the damn universe is something that would catch their notice instead of the petty squabbles of developing life.
If I'm willing to bet that, well, I mean, I guess we can infer from that they're not affected by the Infinity Stones in any way. They were obviously there pre-snap and post-snap.
Yeah.
I'm willing to bet Kang makes a pop-up in this because with what Loki did setting up the TVA and Kang, I'm willing to bet Kang pops up in this before Doctor Strange. I know it's not confirmed. It's a chance. Also, I mean, the joke in the first trailer where the guy's like, hey, I could be the new leader of the Avengers. That would be pretty interesting if he goes to talk to freaking Captain America and Hulk and them and be like, hey, I'm your new leader. But
I will only accept Kang if he shows up in a D7.
I actually agree with Greg. That's going to be an interesting concept. I hope they touch on that more, like the chain effect of all the snaps. Like, having big old boss villains coming from that, like I would have even loved to see Dormammu get out of the loop. Technically,
well, they did let him out of the loop.
No, but I'm saying, like, obviously he made a promise to not, like there was that deal. But I would kind of like to see, like, yeah, I don't have to listen to you. I want to see, like, they did a full body form in Doctor Strange, right? I'd like to see like the on ground form of Dormammu that we see in comics a lot. No, I that was the only thing. Greg brought up the one point of the trailer that I liked. The one thing that I thought was just absolutely a genius idea. Like, because we kind of looked at it as, okay, the snaps happened 3 times, it was cool. Cool effect, but we were like, dude, this like, I don't even know how they're gonna do this. Like, you have Loki fucking up the timeline, you have 3 snaps going on somewhere else. And then you just have this whole chain of events. Like, that's the thing. Like, I love Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but that was some small time shit compared to everything going on right now. But Shang-Chi is where I'm interested in where they're going to explain it, if he got snapped or not.
Oh god, I feel bad for Shang-Chi just in terms of story where Shang-Chi happens. I'm like, oh man, this is going to be a mess. I'm not saying they can't handle it, but it's going to be interesting. As far as the Eternals, this is with what Raina said. This is going to be probably the most gorgeous movie we've seen from Marvel in terms of effects, location shots, things like that. Because just seeing them like wield weapons basically out of light and energy, and then it's like all of them have basically they're Eternal, so they all have basically the same color pattern and same weaponry. It's like gold. They're not red lasers out of his eyes; they're gold. Angelina Jolie's wielding a light gold spear, from what I gathered, in a shield. So it's like, and they're not completely invulnerable. They show the guy getting his ass kicked at some point in the trailer. So
I do gotta say, seeing the Great Value Superman was a little unnerving.
I actually gotta say, like,
they're the prophets, though.
I didn't want to say that.
Like, I have to say,
I was gonna say it. I was totally gonna say it because that's basically that's bootleg Superman.
You know what? Either way, though, like, if they make his character good, like, I would be happy with that. Like,
it definitely looks like a good movie, and
you know what?
If Angelina Jolie's in it, I'm in.
Can I just say, though, like, this movie is going to be artsy as hell. Did you guys see those landscapes? The forest, the desert, the ravines, like the farmlands? I was like, holy crap!
The shot of them descending.
Not to diss previous Marvel directors, but Chloe Zhao's in a class of her own. That she like this wasn't like where Jon Favreau did Iron Man, and like every Marvel would kind of follow suit. It's like you have the special effects and all that.
Let's give Justin a chance to talk about it.
Yeah, I gotta agree. It looks like they're really taking advantage of nice little plot holes. I just want to see how they integrate it in, what they leave out, what they bring to the table. Yeah, I'm excited to see this. So I was just a little bit on the puzzle side about the we were told not to interfere thing. So I'm right there with Raina on that one. I'm like, okay, world
Okay, I
coming
believe
to
you.
an end. It's like, why? So that's why we never heard of you before. Okay, it makes sense. Total reason to exist.
They've been there, what, 7,000 years? So they've been there a little bit.
Yeah,
What gets
it's
me
not
is
like
you
they-
got involved with a fucking plague. But
Yeah,
Thanos
so-
wiped out half the universe, and you're like, yeah, you know what? Today's a Papa John's and Netflix kind of day. Like, fuck you,
Netflix and
serious?
chill.
Well,
I will sit
Good
back
luck
and-
getting Papa John's after the snap.
And they even talk about the fucking snap during the fucking trailer. They talked about the snap
This
and
is
the
first thing they talked
repercussions.
about. Yeah.
I'm like, well, why would you promote that? Oh yeah, we're all palpitating, but we made a promise not to interfere. We sat on our asses when half the world was killed. Oh,
They sat on their asses during all the major catastrophes and tragedies of the world's history. That's a lot of tragedy.
yes.
It's funny. I'm agreeing with all of Greg's points tonight. Like this one that I love this. Like the one big thing about this trailer that just works for me is not only the outcome of the snaps, but I have to say that I was skeptical about this movie, but the character design is real nice. And
Justin, we haven't heard from Sun yet.
Oh, yeah. True.
I honestly haven't. I haven't watched the trailer, and I don't plan to watch Eternals. I don't know. It sounds really Starfleet to have a prime directive, but you're literally like Eternals of the fucking galaxy. Why do you not care about one planet and one race?
Thank you.
I mean,
all right.
There's that, and then like, don't forget, we've seen the Eternals before. We've seen the Eternals before. We just didn't realize what they were because they were debriefing Stan Lee.
Those were the Watchers.
Those are the Watchers, yeah.
Okay.
Travis, what about you? Oh.
I don't know the difference. I'm not a Marvel fan.
All right, thank you guys. That are you looking forward to the Eternals?
Personally, yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
I don't even know who the Eternals are.
Exactly.
They
see it work.
I'm excited, and I wasn't really excited for him. When I saw the first trailer, I was underwhelmed as hell. But I'm very stoked now. I'm actually a little more stoked than Shang-Chi, which was like my top of the list movie I was waiting for.
I wouldn't be surprised if Shang-Chi and Eternals, given what we have coming with No Way Home, I wouldn't be surprised if these two movies are very heavy in exposition. I would not be surprised.
Travis, your thoughts?
I don't have any. I didn't see this trailer. And I mean, like, I'm still very casual when it comes to the Marvel thing. I enjoy it, but I'm not really ingrained into its lore and universe as I am things like Star Trek. So, I mean,
well, what if we find out the Eternals are like the Dark Brotherhood? Or like all the Eternals are like the Silencers, and the Watchers are like the fingers of the Silencers and shit.
And what if they're all really part of the Q continuum?
Okay, that's enough. That's enough. Thank you, guys. That's enough. All right, next topic. A bit of theater news tonight. This week, we saw the debut of Free Guy, a movie that got delayed several times thanks to COVID, and has a plot that's oddly similar to a web series I remember seeing back in 2010 called NPC, where a video game NPC suddenly becomes aware of the fact that he resides in a video game, and that all the things he does doesn't matter. The difference is that this particular NPC begins to fall for a player character, and with her help, they begin to take it to the people
Rule 34 area.
Run themes. Starring Ryan Reynolds, of course. We talked about it last when he did that crossover promotion, taking a look at reacting to the trailers of the movie as Deadpool with Court. which was brilliant in my opinion. But comparatively, Free Guy brought in $28.4 million in North America and $22.5 million internationally. So with a that easily recoups its budget of over $100 million, or about halfway to recouping $100 million. But that means it beat out Suicide Squad, which won last week, and is doing quite well for being split between theater and streaming.
Is it on streaming? I thought it was theater
It's not on
only.
streaming.
No,
It's
you're
theater
right.
only.
It is in theaters only. So,
Yeah, that's why I
hey,
haven't watched it yet.
movie theaters are back. America is back. Hey,
Ah,
Well, I mean,
Delta variant. Hold my beer.
yeah, Delta variant's still out there. I mean, like, I am not out here rooting for theaters to, fail or whatnot. I do believe that a lot of their, I feel like a lot of the drama in terms of like, oh, why are you releasing on a streaming platform before the theaters or whatnot is kind of silly. But I mean, like, I do believe that there is a specific experience that goes into seeing a movie at the theater that goes beyond just, paying for overpriced popcorn and drinks. And I don't want that to go away by any means. So seeing that, like, people are still willing to go to the theater for this kind of movie is great. Like, I'm happy that it's turning a profit and that, it's doing the theater business good. I don't know what this movie's about or anything like that. But I mean, like, hey, if we, like, I do believe that there is room for both, like, platforms to exist in a manner of speaking, if that is making any sense. But yeah, like, I'm glad it's doing the theater business and good, I guess.
So, are any of you guys going to go see it in theaters?
Absolutely not with COVID being a thing.
If I find a
Absolutely
babysitter,
not.
sure.
I think Shang-Chi is going to be the movie that I really go back for, which I think is on the 2nd.
Next 2 weeks, I think. Yeah, you might be right.
Yeah.
I plan to go see it.
You know what?
My local theater does I think like even Randall's does. I've heard maybe even Travis mentioned, but my local theater does like a $5 Tuesday. I've seen since pre-COVID and post-COVID that theater's empty on $5 Tuesday. So I'm like, that's the perfect time to go. Nobody's there.
Yeah, if I go to see it, that's probably what I'm going to do. Like, I love Ryan Reynolds to death. He's probably going to be the only one who could do this movie, given the synopsis. But it's just, I think I'm going through fatigue with these kind of movies, if that makes any sense. Like, even with Marvel, we got like a decent break. But like I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm going through Ryan Reynolds fatigue.
Gasp.
Yeah. I love him as an actor, but
too.
it's just like like they're oversaturating like Deadpool and like advertisements, and he's got the Mint Mobile thing going on. Like, I'm actually kind of getting tired of seeing his face for a bit. He needs to take a break. He's everywhere. He's Lokiing across the internet, and it's just I don't know. Like, but to be fair, like
variants.
Exactly.
Well, you know what,
guys?
No.
Look at what it's up against. Oh,
you know what we need more of right now to break up the Ryan Reynolds fatigue? We need more Tim Curry and stuff.
Yes.
I
at
will
least,
have
at least before he passes away.
I
He's
just
old and in a wheelchair, so yeah.
I just want to make the observation though that it's really not against anything difficult right now. Remnants, The Night House, The Protege, Don't Breathe 2, Respect, Suicide Squad. Before I let you guys go on this,
I want to talk about Jungle Cruise.
I
so
did
bad.
go see a movie a couple weeks ago, and I saw Old, and it was fucking terrible.
I mean, it's called Old, so
say that.
M. Night Shyamalan is just ridiculous with this twist.
If I may, with going up against Free Guys, I do want to see it. I'm curious. Is James Gunn's Suicide Squad not as good as people thought because it underperformed terribly and still is? Free Guy comes around and absolutely blows the box office away, where it's going to recoup its budget and more and be a profitable movie. Suicide Squad is a loss right now for Warner Brothers.
Well, Suicide
here's
Squad
the
still
thing, Suicide
won.
Squad did okay, but
It opened up to what, 15, 16 million? It's opening weekend with international.
24.
Yeah, but
So international, it didn't open up that much though. Free Guy's gonna blow it out of the water.
yeah, but internationally, theaters aren't open everywhere.
hey, but think about it like this though: isn't one on a streaming service, the other is not?
Yeah.
Suicide Squad did get a dual release, yes.
Yeah, so we only had the numbers in for the dualness of that one because, unlike others, people don't charge $30 to watch it on their streaming service.
But also Warner Brothers is doing a dual compensation deal with all of the actors and production crew, so they're not losing out like Scarlett Johansson did with Black
Shots
Widow.
fired, Disney. Are we gonna? This is touching on Suicide. Are we gonna review that next week? Then I'm guessing.
I will make time to watch it so we can review it.
Yeah, because it's going off streaming here relatively soon. So we
Fun fact: Godzilla vs Kong is back on HBO Max.
What is that?
Godzilla vs Kong is back on HBO Max.
Nice.
Use your HBO Max.
Steelbook Blu-ray.
All right, let's wrap this up and get on to our next topic.
Okay, so before we move away from the theater talk, can we just? I just want to mention, Jungle Cruise is horrible.
Yes, it is.
It's just as horrible as the ride.
Oh
Yet
God!
successful enough
What
that
is?
Disney's going to do more.
It's
ride
literally
movies.
it's literally only made $9 million this week.
Wait, they made a movie of that?
Yep.
Yeah. Dwayne Johnson.
They literally hired Dwayne Johnson to save this movie. And Dwayne Johnson couldn't save this movie.
Hey, you made Jumanji work. Let's do this.
Exactly. That was their thinking.
The ride is about as exciting as Battlefield Earth, I've heard.
So our next topic.
Next topic. We're going to do some gaming news today.
Oh my God. It's true. Carlos ain't here.
So, opening up Xbox Game Pass today, I was surprised to see 2 new offerings that I didn't expect. Quake 2, and Quake 3 are now available on Game Pass, and apparently it is also available on PS4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch.
Yes.
Quake Remastered. That is all 3 games. These were revolutionary games at their time. One of the first fully 3D rendered games, and Quake 3 was the big multiplayer game of its time. It ushered in the era of arena shooters that were the big thing before Call of Duty came around.
The Quake engine was what started it all for things like Star Trek Elite Force and Elite Force 2. And
it's what led into Unreal. And it was also one of the with the Unreal Engine being as flexible as it is and launching the Unreal Engine into the industry powerhouse that it is, it was also the first big introduction into modding. It is ridiculously easy to mod, and people did all sorts of crazy things with it. So I'm definitely going to be playing it. And now that my internet might be getting better, I might actually stream it. If you guys are up for it, we could do some co-op death matches.
I would have to get Xbox Game Pass again because I
feel like I need to explain this just a little bit.
Okay.
The reason you found this is because QuakeCon happened this week. Bethesda's QuakeCon happened this week.
It was announced and released.
Yeah, kind of like what they did with Fallout Shelter.
I don't know about you guys. I'm excited for Pokemon Legends Arceus. We got new footage of that. That's amazing.
What's Pokemon again?
I kind of want to give Bethesda some shit right now, though.
Yeah.
Because of QuakeCon.
Okay.
Because they have just announced the anniversary edition of Skyrim.
Enough.
You know it.
Enough is enough.
I
have
shit
had
you
it
not.
with these motherfucking Skyrim releases on this motherfucking.
It's literally
you're finally awake.
It's literally the special edition of Skyrim repackaged with all of their current Creation Club DLC and a few extra bits, and it's basically them charging you again for it for the Creation Club bits, and then they're going to have more Creation Club bits afterward.
And actually, the good thing about this that I actually read in the article is if you have Xbox Game Pass, you get a free upgrade. And this doubles your mod space if you're on console, which is nice because the console mod space freaking sucks in Skyrim for the amount of space you get.
Well, they have to double your mod space simply because they're giving you all the Creation Club DLC for free with this upgrade, even though they're making brand new DLC.
There's like the details the details in terms of like the upgrade pricing and everything are kind of scarce at the moment. But yeah, I'm kind of I love Skyrim. I have bought it like 4 or 5 times, and I don't regret those purchases because I enjoy the game that much. It's very replayable, and I love like experimenting with.
Oh, calm down, Justin.
Get that off the thing. Like, I like Skyrim. It's a great game, and again, I love experimenting with the mods and everything like that. But the fact that it is now a decade-old game and it is getting constantly pushed out by Bethesda as a in some areas a full-priced video game, it's like we are like focus on not Star Citizen, fucking
Starfield.
Yeah, Starfield. Like, give us more. Start to develop more on Elder Scrolls 6. Like,
I'll tell you why they keep selling it, Travis.
Because people keep playing it.
Come here. I'll whisper.
The Chalk Eaters have a song dedicated solely to this.
I can't believe we're talking about Skyrim again. I feel
Guys,
like
the reason they keep selling it, because people keep buying it.
No, Ross, you've got it all wrong. See, the Chalk Eaters came up with an entire song that tells us why this keeps happening. And Todd Howard said it himself. It just works.
Even Todd Howard
works.
was the one who said, "Oh, you want us to stop selling it? Stop buying it." Like, he even came out and said it.
But see, this is a
touche, but
I can explain some of this. This is part of the union of Bethesda now being owned by Microsoft. Microsoft is really, really heavy into making games as a service a thing now.
I would actually like to bridge into this, and there's actual rumors that Microsoft has invested in a Morrowind remaster.
Yeah, I've heard the same rumor, and if they're planning on putting on Game Pass, it makes total sense.
Like a Morrowind remaster, I would be totally into.
I don't think that there's any way that they're going to pull that off. Not with how Bethesda talks about wanting the quality that they want now. There's too much shit going on in Morrowind for them to voice act a whole bunch of shit and have the long-winded dialogue that Morrowind has just for the fucking main quest. They're not going to get that done.
So
Microsoft is paying them a big amount of money. They'll do it.
Microsoft owns them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If they're going to invest further in their company, they will tell them, look, we're giving you money. You're going to develop this.
Use voice talent we have on hand. Here you go.
Circling back to the topic, the collection not only includes all of the original content and the DLC, it also has a brand new campaign created by Machine Games, the developers that did Wolfenstein: The New Order. So that excites me. All right. Any final thoughts about Quake?
Quake's awesome. Skyrim, not so much.
Quake is awesome. Why aren't we talking about all the new Pokemon footage?
Pokemon Legends, Arceus, January to next year.
What's Pokemon?
All right. Our second gaming topic of tonight was something that was of particular interest to me because I'm a big Metal Gear Solid fan and a fan of watching speedrunners. So this week, a more casual streamer by the name of Boba was doing a stream of Metal Gear Solid, one of my favorite all-time games, and accidentally stumbled upon a pretty major skip in the game. Perfect, Justin. Perfection. Excellent job.
I'm actually surprised he knew what that was.
What? You don't think I've ever played that game before?
No. You're almost as old as Carlos is.
I do take that back. Carlos is
so anyway, back to Ross's.
There's a segment in the game where the player has to run up a tower while being attacked by enemy soldiers. It is a very long, very, very tedious, but also dramatically tense moment in the game. And to speedrunners, it's absolutely torture because there's no way to skip it or to scoot past the enemies. You just have to endure it. Well, in this case, a player is the player is standing in front of the door, and she got shot. And those few moments of invulnerability pushed the sprite through the door, and she got to the next area. This cut off over half an hour of the time it takes people to complete the game. And within minutes, not only were people recreating the skip, they were optimizing it. And now the world record for completing the game has been broken at least 3 or 4 times as it continues to be optimized.
That's hilarious.
And that skip is now known affectionately as the Boba skip.
That's hilarious.
That's awesome.
That is hilarious.
Congratulations.
Travis has no idea what we're talking about.
Metal Gear Solid is a somewhat older game, but
I know
now
what Metal Gear. Guys, I have a Metal Gear.
What? You're skipping.
Uh-oh. The page just got to him.
Uh-oh.
Did you guys see that poster over there?
We didn't hear or see anything.
Yeah, you just froze and went off and nothing else. We saw
Your
rain.
connection's dropping pretty bad.
Yeah, I'm back. Hell out of this thing.
I'm about to show the camera, like I'm pointing my laptop over there to what's hanging on my wall. Okay?
It does not like that.
It puts the lotion on the skin.
Okay, I see the Metal Gear Solid 3 poster.
Okay.
Yes. I know what Metal Gear Solid is. Don't say Yes.
Bazinga.
Snake Eater is the best.
No. Like, that didn't fit. You did good, Justin. You did good, and then you fucked it up.
Of course.
Yeah.
It's that.
Old age,
Anyway,
Justin, old
yeah,
age.
I know exactly what Metal Gear Solid
I'm
is.
not so disqualified.
I know what you guys are talking about. I just don't watch speedrunners.
He's just giving you shit. It's okay.
It's too late for this kind of thing.
So I love this. I love that older games like Metal Gear Solid are they're still finding ways to optimize their runs and the fact that they're still playing and sharing one of the best games that I've ever played. And that experience goes, yes, David, yes.
Snake.
Any thoughts before we move on to our final gaming topic for the night?
This isn't related to the topic, but that's my big brother David Horton in the chat, and he actually turns, I believe, 40 on Tuesday.
Outstanding.
Well, welcome to
Justin
being
older than him.
So, just a quick thing: if you if you play Warframe and you've played the Heart of Deimos quest and that content, David Hayter plays Father in that stuff. And there's literally an entire portion of the quest line where you're driving in this giant fucking mech called Snake. And he has that line that he says when you blow up the mech. He literally goes, Snake!
All right. Son, it is now time for you to update the Actilist.
Okay.
Let's hear all of the crazy updates in the ongoing saga of the Activision Blizzard drama.
Okay,
I
so
am a potato.
That's Valve, not Activision Blizzard.
And completely irrelevant.
I don't know. Activision Blizzard is slowly turning into a potato, it looks like.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Okay, so I didn't get to update everybody last week. So for week 3 of all the goings on, Luis Bargia, which is the Diablo 4 game director, Jesse McCree, the Diablo 4 lead designer, and Jonathan LeCraft, which is a WoW designer, were confirmed no longer working at Activision Blizzard.
Ooh.
Corey Stockton, lead game designer at Blizzard, was rumored to currently be placed on leave. Kellogg's has also seemed to pull its deals for Overwatch League, removing both its Cheez-Its and Pringles as sponsors.
Wow.
Jason Schreier released another article detailing 50 interviews with current employees, their experiences, and reveals that several Blizzard executives who that dated and then some even marrying low-level employees, including former CEO Mike Morhaime marrying a business director, Frank Pierce leaving his wife to marry a customer service representative at Blizzard, and just the recently left J. Allen Brack also marrying a low-level employee.
Jesus Christ.
Good riddance to him.
What the hell's going on over there, Ortiz? Jeez.
Well, hello, frat boy culture.
Yeah.
Do you not remember the frat boy frat house from the Revenge of the Nerds?
Yeah, but even that was more tame than this.
No, that's literally a whole bunch of nerds living out the life that they always dreamed of having, which was the frat boy life.
To quote the Act Man on this, what Blizzard is doing is an insult to frat boy culture.
So, someone named Dainty, who was formerly known in the customer support and community as Blood Elf Paladin Esteen, released. She basically made this big, huge blog about her own experiences, in a largely detailed list. It's way too much to cover, but it talks about like. It basically goes through this entire list of showing how the customer service experience, like the back end experience of being in customer service, is geared not to getting shit fixed, but to getting as much shit done as possible. It is quantity over quality when it comes to customer service. And though she was great at quality, she was not great at quantity, because she would make sure that problems were solved and wouldn't be coming back up again. And as other junior employees came in and started getting promotions above her, even though they were seeing repeats from the same customers, they were just basically pressing closed and then having someone reopen the ticket because things weren't resolved, right? And she goes on to talk about how the stress just in customer service, because she didn't really know about like the rest of the thing. Drinking on the job was kind of this thing that got so bad just in customer service, they had to limit drinks, like actual liquor. They allowed actual liquor in customer service. They were doing it. They were doing it before the limitation, and the limitation was 2 drinks a day, guys. Just 2.
That explains so much.
So when you talk about having a frat boy culture, yeah, we're talking about keggers, not just in all the other development departments. You're having the people who are so stressed in customer service, they're drinking on the job. So
That's crazy.
Yeah, I need to find the link to that so I can share that, because that's an interesting read. But it also details, like reading this, you can see how the corporate experience for customer service is just so geared towards guys, like it being an office of guys, that coming in as a female kind of changes everything, because she talks about going in and everyone would treat her like their little sister, and it's like, that's creepy as hell. So that's week 3. Week 4, okay, Justin, damn, really?
Posture check. That's,
So week 4. So the Diablo 2 Resurrected pre-order beta launched this past week. And it was planned to come out this week. Nobody at Blizzard was expecting the lawsuit to drop. This was already planned to come out this week. Mm-hmm. But in the midst of all of this shit going on, the beta launches with a Q&A of what to expect from the Resurrected game. And what was removed was a TCP IP connection, which is basically old style LAN networking. And it's what allowed a whole bunch of the community to have their own servers so that they could load client-side mods to share with friends so they could all play together with the mods. And Activision Blizzard said that they were removing this feature because of, quote-unquote, identified potential security risks and, quote, a commitment to safeguarding the player experience, which is basically just fucking buzzwords for we can't control what you do if we allow this. Yeah. Because the TCP IP experience was always unsecure.
Gotta love it.
And the fact that the design team from the beginning said that this would be included, and now that they're pulling it because it's unsecure, you knew it wasn't secure from the beginning. If you wanted something that was secure, you wouldn't have promised to include it and then pull it. So you know that there's corporate bullshit going on here. So this is causing even further shit going on with Activision and Blizzard. And then we found out that the modders who were willing to port or upgrade their mods for the Resurrected Edition opened Battle.net, which allowed multiplayer modding, no longer exists. It's gone, which means they can't even port the old mods into the updated version. I mean, and in some cases, it means they can't even get it so that the old mods work on the old game, like what Activision Blizzard keeps saying about, look, if you want the old experience, you can play the old experience. Well, not if I can't have the mods that I can't connect to Battle.net to get anymore.
It's the exact same thing that happened with Warcraft 3 Reforged.
Exactly.
Justin, you're muted.
You're still muted.
Am I still muted now?
Well, now you're not.
You're good now.
Okay. The same thing that happened when GameSpy shut down. They shut down all of their servers a few years back, and all these games you're supposed to be able to play. Well, you can't do it without that. But players found a way to put their own servers up and put their own servers in. So I'm sure some crafty modders will figure a way around this too.
Except that's violating IP law, and Blizzard will shut that down.
That's hilarious. The whole GameSpy thing, the whole GameSpy server shutting down, is how Borderlands went into limbo for like a couple of years because nobody was able to run anything on Borderlands.
But you know what? It's funny that Sun brings up this whole issue with the client server thing because you know where they had the same fucking thing is the fucking Doom 2 port had this same issue. How are you fucking this up so bad? Stop. Like oh no, wait, no. Doom is so Bethesda and them had the same goddamn glitch because people. You guys remember this? They did the Doom 2 remaster from the ground up, and they had left open the old login secure that was an employee version of it, and somehow it still had access points into their servers because their servers are so fucking old.
And security is expensive.
Oh my lord.
Oh, does anyone remember Microsoft Live?
Oh my god, yes. What a nightmare that was.
Yeah.
Here's another fun one, Web TV. It was part of Microsoft Live. It was a set-top box.
Oh boy. Well, is that everything, son?
So far, that seems to be everything. Most of the other stuff is like related to, but not directly connected to Activision. Like you had the Ubisoft Singapore scandal come out where they're alleging basically the same thing.
Riot's heating up as well, right?
Well, I mean, Riot is literally a bunch of former Blizzard devs. So
Ubisoft are fucking scumbags for what they did. And then they ended up protecting and paying all those fucking people. Like, just pieces of shit, every single one of them.
I mean,
while this isn't
literally
directly...
Go ahead, Travis.
Well, this isn't directly connected to the Blizzard fallout and lawsuits going on right now. One interesting tidbit that kind of popped up this week was that the United States Congress actually sent out letters to a lot of CEOs of video game companies in the country, including Activision. Bobby Kotick got one of these letters saying, hey, please, basically Congress is asking them to ease off on the aggressive monetization of video games right now, particularly when it comes to loot boxes or things like that. Which the reason why I bring it up is because I recalled Bobby Kotick, his investors are not very happy with him right now. They're saying that he's getting overpaid and everything for he's not earning his $200 million salary, I guess.
I can explain this, Travis.
They laid off so many employees so he could get that fucking bonus. It's disgusting.
It's not even that so he could get that bonus. They just laid off the employees to lay off the employees. Yeah. Their contracts literally say they're fireable at the end of a game.
Well, that and most tech companies is they hire on a short-term basis.
Right.
Like Google only hires people on for 1 or 2 years. Others, it's as much as 4. But after that, they either keep you or they let people go. And most often, they just let people go.
So here's the thing to explain, Travis. Kotick's been kind of on the edge of the board's knife for the past year. They had a meeting this year to vote on whether or not to give him the bonus.
Yeah.
And a couple of development and employee support groups had actually been going to the board members with information that the board members should have had from Kotick and from Activision Blizzard and didn't. And they were getting pissed, right? And then suddenly Blizzard, I can't remember if it was Activision Blizzard or somebody in the company suddenly delays the vote by a couple of months. And in that couple of months, it suddenly seemed like a whole bunch of news turned around within the corporate side. So stuff we'll never hear about. And still, even with all this news that seemed to make a whole bunch of people happier, he still only barely passed getting that bonus. And now that all of this shit is actually coming to light in a lawsuit, yeah, no, he's not long for being CEO anymore, and I doubt he'll be getting a golden parachute along the way.
Hopefully, he needs to go. He needs.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, I don't like, even if his contract stipulates he should be getting a golden parachute. The fact that the board itself is in a lawsuit with Activision Blizzard for the company withholding information from them will null his contract and any kind of golden parachute that is supposed to happen. I almost guarantee that
if the board doesn't revolt against him, the shareholders will.
You know what? Give him the golden parachute. At least it'll be heavier.
I was the first one to say that he should have gone with Brack. They should have been let out of that company at the same time.
Valen Brack's departure was a small victory.
Give him the golden parachute, but part of his severance pay.
That's what the golden parachute is.
That's what the golden parachute is.
Yeah, I was making a joke that gold is heavy.
Okay, yeah. But
it doesn't make a good parachute.
It is getting late. We are missing jokes, and we're running out of energy. So let's get things wrapped up for tonight and get into our final segment. My personal favorite part of the show. What are we watching? Let's start with you, Justin. What you watching this week?
Let's see. I watched Lower Decks this week, of course. I went back and watched Loki a bit because I felt the need to watch Loki on Wednesday night since we don't have Bad Batch anymore on Thursday night. So I kind of had to get my double show watching. Let's see, what else was it that I watched this week? I think that's been it. I've just been doing Space Engineers a lot this week and some Star Citizen. That's been about it.
All right. Thank you very much. Travis and Lane, what have you two been watching?
Disney Roulette.
Oh, okay.
Uh-oh.
That bad, huh?
Lane, what's wrong?
Lane. Give him CPR.
Lay it on us, Travis. Don't leave us in suspense.
This week on Disney Roulette.
Oh, no.
We pulled a pretty bad one.
Pinocchio.
The Sound of Music.
No.
The Lion King remastered.
We watched The Jungle Book 2.
Oh. Where they de-aged Mowgli by a decade or so.
I mean, it wasn't even that.
They're there, Travis.
It was just like, this movie was bad. And I mean, even for Disney sequel,
straight to video sequel.
Yeah, this was a straight to video one. I mean, I tried. This one just.
You didn't finish it.
No, we finished it. We finished it. When we put on when we go through Disney Roulette, we commit ourselves.
You poor thing.
Let me put it to you this way. When we watched the remake of Pete's Dragon.
Oh, you poor thing.
I made sure my sister, I had to poke her a few times because she was falling asleep. And we were just like, no. We can't do that. We can't do that. We can't. When we put on Disney Roulette, we commit. And I committed. And I think the one thing that really kind of broke me in this movie is that there is a little kid character who is fucking obnoxious. Whenever he spoke, you could tell that it was Disney's attempt to put in this cute character, and it fell on its face. Every time he spoke, I just was this close to saying, "Shut up!" I wanted to say, "Shut up!" Stop talking. You're not interesting. You're not cute. You're making this movie so much more insufferable. I can't remember too much about the plot. All I can tell you is that the late Tony Jay voiced Shere Khan and actually did a pretty decent job at it. Long story short, I guess Shere Khan wants more like revenge for Mowgli getting the best of him from the first movie, and that's the Jungle Book 2. Oh yeah, there's like insufferable bird lines. The one thing that the Jungle Book 2 did good, I'll give it this much. The one thing it did good was that in the first Jungle Book movie, when Mowgli enters the man village, there really isn't much of a goodbye between him and like Bagheera and Baloo. And there really wasn't too much closure there. Well, in this episode, Mowgli kind of returns to the jungle, and he and Baloo and everyone have some palling around and everything. But in the end, Mowgli does have to go back to the village. And the movie actually does give a decent, like, goodbye between him and Baloo. And it's actually really well done. It's kind of undone by the fact that Mowgli and everyone kind of visit the jungle here and there anyway towards the end. But I mean, like, I will say that, you know, your one saving grace is that they do have a good farewell scene, quote unquote, there, but that is it. It is not worth watching this horrible movie to see this one saving grace that was absent in the first movie. 3 out of 10. Terrible movie.
All right.
Too much grace.
Thank you, Travis. Greg, what were you watching this week?
Oh, well, obviously What If Lower Decks. But was obviously watched Suicide Squad. Really enjoyed it. So looking forward to the review next week. Haven't watched too much. I mean, my fiance and I have been watching the new Charmed. I know I told Justin this, but
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's just getting. I want.
How are you stomaching it?
Just by the fact that their White Lighter Harry is the only good character I think is on the show. So he's the only redeeming factor. But I prefer the old Charmed.
If you want something to champion, watch Superman and Lois after you get done. They just finished their first season, and the rap was fucking awesome.
Actually, no. Speaking of that, this is something I did watch. The Toys That Made Us. I went from the movies that made us to Toys That Made Us. I watched the Toys That Made Us Star Trek.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh man, that was an amazing episode. I loved it. All Star Wars. No. Sorry, Star Trek. I love the suggestion I got a couple weeks ago. So Movies That Made Us was great. Toys That Made Us is just as good. So I'm really enjoying those series.
Good.
Outstanding. Thank you, Greg. Raina, what have you been watching this week?
Well, besides TNG and of course, 09 Star Trek, which I don't want to talk about that anymore tonight. For obvious reasons. I actually got into this game on Game Pass called Boyfriend Dungeon, and it's fantastic. And it's not what you think. Actually, it's literally a game that's a dungeon crawler and dating sim in one, where they both systems are actually beneficial to one another. Like, it's not just like phoned in for once, which is what caught my eye. Like, of course I play shit for the achievements. Like, I got time. Let me just kick back and try this. But the combat is addicting as hell. Like, it is like Diablo style. Look down, like looking for everything, loot and all that. It's great. And the characters are like they're weapons that are also people. Like, they can turn back and forth. So like you build these bonds through fighting, and then it ends up into the dating sim thing. But the characters are fucking interesting. Like, I'm actually having trouble picking which one I want to take their path. Like, I'm actually debating multiple playthroughs of this game because the characters are just that deep. And they all feel very different, and the voice acting is top notch, and it's one of the best video game soundtracks I have ever heard, period.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, this game is fantastic, and it's on the Switch, PC, Xbox, and PS4, I guess, and this thing is it's just a wonderfully artistic game. I love the indie scene, so For someone who hates dating sims, this game did something magical.
Well, it's probably
All
because
right.
it has dungeons in it, so foreshadowing.
It's actually funny. In the first 5 minutes of the game, it's like, I'm going to teach you how to explore the dungeon and get a date. Don't worry, those two things don't go together. It's not what you think. They actually make a joke about that in the tutorial.
All right. Thank you, Raina. Son, what were you watching this week?
Son?
You're muted.
Are you there, son? Did we lose her?
She was watching Bobby Kotick's career just fall down the toilet.
Probably needed a break after that last segment. I don't blame her.
Yeah.
she's been through a rough week. All right. As for me, I found a bit of a new internet craze this week.
No. Hold on, Ross. That's not what I want to hear.
Oh yeah, I did finish Lucifer. And yes,
were the feels had?
The feels were had and tears were shed.
But do not worry. If you've seen the trailer for next season, you know he comes back somehow.
He didn't leave.
Not Lucifer.
Oh, anyway.
Yeah.
It was definitely a really nice send off, a great season, a great conclusion. When he got his wings chopped off, I cheered. Spoilers for Lucifer. Oh my Lucifer.
Yes.
We tried to warn you about
me.
Oh my me. Yes.
We tried to warn you.
Yes, you did warn me. You didn't try to warn me, you did warn me. You quite explicitly warned me. So
you
thank
were going
you.
to cry.
Anyway,
cry like a baby.
I also found a new YouTube channel to somewhat obsess over. I forget the exact name, but what the guy does is he goes through scrap heaps and gets stuff donated to him to melt down and smelt into ingots. Oh no, son, it broke. Oh, okay, so her computer broke. She needs help. Oh no! No!
What is it doing, son?
I'm sorry, son.
Welcome to Super Geeks technical support.
If you can get it into the group chat, Justin can help you.
Broke, send help.
So
okay.
It's basically just videos of a guy who's taking junk, in this case old motors, taking them apart, separating the aluminum from the copper, melting them down, and pouring them into ingot molds or little coin molds. I was quite surprised to see that he had the scum icon from The Secret of Monkey Island and a Vault Boy coin as well. And in addition to that, I've been catching up on reading. It's been an absolute delight to get back into to reading again. In this case, it's the BattleTech quarterly magazine Shrapnel, and it's inspired me to start writing again, as well as they are taking submissions. So I'll be doing that.
Speaking of reading, Ross, my fiance is doing pretty good on reading Dune in anticipation for the movie, so she's making headway through that book.
Outstanding. I'm looking forward to reviewing it with her.
Hey, Ross.
Yes?
One more honorable mention that I did watch.
What's that?
I got hooked on this YouTuber called Many Kudos.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy, just so you know, I knew nothing of Yandere Simulator. I watched the meltdown of this dev. He is insane. He is just out of his damn mind. And I was just laughing where they were just memeing, like doing like deep voices about him, like getting technical support for his sex doll and everything.
Nice.
That people had stole his messages where he was getting technical support of like, why are her elbows propping up? She looks like a zombie. I was dying. Oh man, that game's a mess.
Yes, Leah, Secret of Monkey Island. It's one of my favorites. All right. Well,
poor son.
That will wrap things up for this episode of The Real Super Geeks. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoy what you heard tonight, if you're still with us, please support the channel by liking, subscribing, upvoting, sharing, and all the other fun engagement things that makes the algorithms happy and gets our faces in front of more people. So you can find us here on YouTube. If Justin, where else are we?
We are on Spotify. We are also at I gotta find it. God dang it! I thought I had that ready to go. I don't have it memorized yet because it's that new. So it's like, yeah, it's here it is. Anchor FM, and it's on Spotify. Anchor FM, the real Super Geeks.
So Sun is reaching through the ether to tell us what she watched this week. I watched movies that I watched. So I watched the movie that made us. I actually watched the new series, the holiday movies that made us. So that sounds like a lot of fun.
The Home Alone movies that made us was really good.
Thank God I watched Before I...
2 Before 1.
2 Before 1.
Oh, 2 Before 1. Okay. The Nightmare Before Christmas is 2. Elf is 1.
Yes.
I don't care for Elf, so...
Elf is an amazing Christmas
movie.
what?
You know what, Travis? You sit on the throne of lies.
Yes.
Yes. She can't stand Elf either.
All right.
Justin, where can people find you?
Twitch TV, Commander Sepper.
Travis and Lane?
You can see me
on
staring
Raina's
angrily at the television because Elf's a terrible movie, and whenever it's on, I can't stomach it.
Don't
getting owned by Raina and Halo.
You
Don't
can
let Travis
also,
be so modest. He's the admin of the largest Star Trek fan group on Facebook.
and I am preparing for my latest countdown. I'm in the home stretch there, so.
She'd rather. Sun said she'd rather have out.
If you're looking for Sunseal, you can find her at twitch.tv/Sunseal. And she can't stand Elf, but she'd rather have Alf.
I'm all for Alf.
I'm all for this cat eating Alf.
Raina, where can people find you?
Twitch.tv/Raina Wolf.
Greg?
YouTube Mongoose Gaming Burrow and Twitch.tv Mongoose Gaming 88.
And if you're watching us on Twitch, you're already in the right place. Twitch.tv/live_love_play.
And I will be playing Sun's part for tonight. You're all loved and appreciated for just being you.
You're supposed to wait for the cue. I'm supposed to cue it. I have a rhythm. I have a script that I'm trying to get you to make this regular and standardized. Come on.
Good soldiers follow orders.
Just shut up, Greg. Thank you all very much for watching. We're glad to have you here. We're glad, and if you have anything that you want to contribute to the conversation as well, please type it down in the comments below.
You're all loved and appreciated for you just being you. Okay, there you go.
And remember to live, to love, and to play a little bit every day. Justin, play us out.
Alrighty, let's see if this works without crashing.
Boom!
And we're not doing any Florida Man